Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today it is all things Gorbusto. I am going to be joined shortly by Trey Mac Shipley, I'm just going to call him the National Sales Director of Aladino Cigars. I know that gets him in trouble when I say that shit, because the whole title thing, but it's weird, and I'm just going to call him that because, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to be joined by Trey Mac Shipley, and we are going to smoke I'm going to smoke the Camp Aladino Cameroon Gorbusto. And we're going to find out what a Gorbusto is. We're going to find out all about the Camp Aladino cigars. And we're going to find out all about the 85th anniversary cigar, the Aladino 85th. It's also out right now. And everything going on with Aladino. And you know how it is with Trey Mac. Lord knows where this conversation is going to go. So why don't we go ahead and jump right into that? And I'm joined by Trey Mac. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good, brother. How about you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. It's been couple months.
It has. It's been a minute. So today we're going to go and take a little trip to Camp Aladino. At least I am. Are you smoking? I don't know. Are you inside or you outside?
I'm inside. Can't smoke inside. In the future, I could set up a badass place out here on the balcony.
Yeah.
But we'd also have to record when it's not 100 degrees. It is hot shit out there.
That's fair.
But we should think about that in the future because you know what? I would love to smoke a freaking cigar in my own place.
I would bet you would. And I have the Camp Aladino. I have the Cameroon. Yeah, I have the Cameroon, Camp Aladino. Now tell me about the Camp Aladino.
Okay, so first things first, there's only about 60 stores in the U.S. you can currently get these things.
Okay.
There are 3 different versions. It's 4.5 by 60, so it's a fun size.
It's a little nubby thing.
Yeah, it just looks cool in your mouth. These not those kind of websites.
No, I know.
Trust me, it looks cool in your mouth.
Okay.
Anyway, so there's 3 different versions.
Because you're all about making sure that if you have something in your mouth, you'll look cool.
You want to look cool. If you're going to put it in your mouth, you better look cool. For sure. Mama didn't raise no fool.
There you go.
So there's 3 different versions of the 4.5 by 60, what we're calling Gorbusto size.
Gorbusto.
Yeah, so it's like a Robusto, Robusto, Gordo, Gorbusto,
Yeah, it's a mashup of words is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it is more, and we will get to that in a little bit.
There's more to the word.
There is more to Gorbusto than just the mashup of words.
Right.
Okay.
So, 3 different versions. You have a Corojo, a Cameroon, and a Maduro. Important distinction, these are very different than, like, you can't say, like, oh, this is just a different size of the Aladino Cameroon. Not whole different blend. And Julio was big on that because, if you're going to go to a larger size, you're going to have to completely change the blend to make this cigar awesome.
For sure.
So all 3 taste very different than anything else we have in our line. They are all kicked up a notch, which is hard to do when you go to a fatter cigar to take the flavor higher.
Yeah.
You do. So Julio, that's what he does. He's the master. I don't know shit in that regard, and he did it.
Okay.
So the Cameroon, the cool thing is the 60 people that get this are the 60 people that have come to the farm. So store owner or store manager that has been to the Aladino farm, they're in this program called Camp Aladino, and every year there's going to be a new Camp Aladino cigar. So next year there'll be something totally different. Who knows what it is?
So it won't be the Gorbusto anymore.
It could be anything.
Okay.
And they basically it's a way to get the PCA release a year in advance. So the Camp Aladino Gorbusto that you're smoking now in 26, that will be a PCA release, a whole new line of cigars for our company that everybody can order.
Okay.
But for the first year, we're just rewarding the people that have come to the farm, and they were involved in the process of selecting the cigar, which is another reason. If you own a store out there, or if you're a manager, tell your people, come down to Camp Aladino, because you can get involved. You can blend some stuff. We can try new blends. And you guys are really, that's where Aladino comes from. It comes from the people that are most interested in our product.
There we go.
So
I like it. Well, I want to smoke it. So it's time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So please go to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. We got that down.
Yeah, although you're doing it different than they do these days.
Oh?
They're like, two guys dot.
That's because I'm not being a wuss, and I'm just going to go ahead and put their website out on YouTube. They're afraid that YouTube's going to take them down. And I can understand that. Realistically, I would not like to be taken off of YouTube. On the flip side, if that's the thing that's going to get me yanked off YouTube, fuck them. Because I can find out on YouTube the best places to buy or to sell cocaine to people. There's a video for that. I can watch naked yoga. I can watch women do naked yoga. I can watch a how-to video of how to shave your vagina on YouTube. But yet I can't say 2guyscigars.com. So fuck them. I'm going to say the website. I was paid. I was paid by an advertiser to say the website. So you know what? I'm going to say the website. And if it gets me taken off of YouTube, there's Rumble. There's Spotify video.
Rumble's growing like crazy, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. So fuck it. I'm just going to do what I do.
But
and let's be real. If YouTube wants to yank me off, there's like...
yeah.
If they want to yank the show off the air... It's not like there's not, hundreds of episodes available on there right now that are all just as egregious as the other, to where they could come in one foul swoop, give me all 3 strikes at one time, and take me off immediately. So, whatever. I'm not telling them to do it, but I'm just saying it could happen.
I've been waiting for YouTube to yank me off for a long time.
Get that good Google yank,
Mm.
Just saying. So, all right, we're going to give this guy a cut. Take off the thing there. And, technically, as I light this thing, this would be the time that I would normally play the greatest commercial that you've ever heard.
That'd be a great time for that.
Well, then fine. I'll go ahead and do it. I didn't know if, you wanted to talk through this, but I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do that.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
So, I don't know if I've done this with you when you're on the show or if you've heard it. How many times do they say Corojo in that commercial?
Oh, I don't know.
How many times do you think they say Corojo in that commercial?
Well, it seems like it gets stuck in your head, but I'm going to go with 9.
7.
Oh, I was going to say 7.
I believe it's only 7. It's been a minute since I've counted. I'm doing this off the top of my head, but I'm like 99% sure it's only 7. If you go back and listen, I think they only say it 7 times.
It's not as much as you would think, but
it is not. But that's the thing. It's 1 minute and 16 seconds long, and so you think it's like, oh my God, they're just beating the Corojo drum, but like they don't. It's only like 7 times.
It's genius.
So, I mean, it's an earworm. It gets all up in there. So, anyway.
Almost as if AI wrote that thing,
Maybe. I don't know. Dave likes his song parodies a lot.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I'm using my fancy table lighter here. I have the Winston by Lotus, and this is the one they say is very steampunky and everything, but it's a little, one push on the side and just big jets come alive and
pretty badass.
So it's a nice, and dude, this is heavy. Like if I'm gonna punch somebody and I'm holding this thing, I'm getting some force behind it with this. I mean, this is a nice heavy lighter.
I like it.
Not ideal for the pocket. Definitely a table lighter, but that's okay. I keep it out here at the table. It's fine. So
that's where you put it, table lighter. Put the table lighter on the table.
Where you put exactly. So okay, so we talked a little bit about the Camp Aladino, kind of the genesis of how it came about, and people can get them, and go to the farm and all that and everything. But the name Gorbusto, we have to talk about what the heck is a Gorbusto. Now, I know that you said it's a mashup of Gordo and Robusto because, like you said, what, 4.5?
Yeah,
4.5 by 60. So you have not quite the length of a Robusto. I almost feel like if you would give me the 5 by 60, then I would feel this is more of like a Rothschild and a
it's similar
Gordo.
To the way I talk to the ladies.
I see what you did there.
It's a
4.5. You're rounding.
Yeah, trust me.
No, you know what it is? It's the strengthometer. It's a 4.5, but you round it up to a 5 because that's what it is.
But you can't have the 4.5. It's a 5.
Now I understand what we're doing here. So okay, so it's a little more than just the mashup of the two words.
It's
so like
girthy little bastard.
It is. But I'll say, I'm not normally a big 60 ring gauge guy. Maybe it's the shorter, stubby length.
You don't feel as bad smoking it.
It doesn't feel like a 60. No. Maybe because it's like not 6 inches long, and it's like more awkward at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
It really is. No, but when you put in that little chode version, it's way better.
He was hung like a tuna can. Really girthy, but very short.
Reminds me of Pat Schmidt.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, Pat.
Was it you that sent me the video of the thing from the 2 Bears, 1 Cave, where they're talking about the countries, the top 10 countries by shortest dick size?
Probably. That was
I'm pretty sure that was you. Yeah. So, anyway. Yeah. We'll just leave it there.
I'm going to Vietnam later this year. So
You what?
What? I said there's a reason I'm going to Vietnam later this year. I mean.
Oh, yeah, your dong,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The currency.
Yeah, the currency.
Yeah, the currency. Anyway, so goddamn, so all right, let's talk about the Gorbusto though, because the name, admittedly, it was a Justo brainstorm.
Yeah, and it was funny. Justo says funny shit all the time, and sometimes it's like, yeah, that's a little too far, or that's not far enough, But when he said Gorbusto, we all kind of looked at each other like, that's genius. How has it never been used?
I know, right? Boy, there's a little bit of spice off that retrohale just off the beginning here, right off the foot. Mm-hmm. Not a ton, not enough that I'm coughing or anything.
I mean, you're producing a lot of smoke there.
It is a little smokestack. And no, it's nice. It's good. It's good. I like this.
So yeah, once he said Gorbusto and showed us plenty of different blends.
Yeah.
We were like, whoa, that's a cool idea. And then we all started smoking all the different blends. And, especially when we've done this in the past, like every time you come to Camp Aladino, there's something new that we want to do in the future that we let everybody try. And that's always in Julio's office with Julio. It's a cool moment when you come to the farm. Here's something new. Please try this. Well, this year was a little different where it was like, here's a ton of different cigars.
Yeah.
And we want to know. And there were a few that like, no, I'm not into this, none of that, blah, blah, blah. But then out of it, instead of one cigar, there was a consensus of 3. And so then we were like, well, there's 3 cigars that literally every group that's come to the farm this year, they all like these 3.
Yeah.
So how about we just do a new line with these 3 cigars?
Okay.
And that was really the genesis of how this started. The Cameroon was by far every group. If we averaged the scores, it was the star of the show.
Okay. Now, I admittedly, I have all 3. I picked the Cameroon for the show here because, like you mentioned, I wasn't going into this. I wasn't quite sure, like, okay, is this just a short, fat version of the regular line Aladino? If that's the case, I don't want the Corojo, not because I don't like it, but I want something a little different. I wasn't feeling a Maduro. I'm like, you know what? Let's do the Cameroon. I haven't had an Aladino Cameroon in a while. And I'll say, this is not, right now, granted, I'm very early in it. This is not giving me the same Aladino Cameroon vibes that I get off of like the Toro and the Robusto of the main line Aladino Cameroon.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah. Much more spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, all 3 of them are way more powerful than their predecessors.
Okay.
Which is hard to do in a fatter cigar.
Well, let me ask a question on that front. So, like, a lot of the old guard, we'll call them that. I don't want to call them the old guys, but the old guard. Coming from Cuba, Cuban roots, whatever. They all like the smaller cigars, the smaller ring gauges, and that sort of thing. Was this is this something that Julio wanted to do, like branch out and expand and do like a short, fat cigar, or like where did that idea necessarily come from? Do you know?
So even since 2020, the first time I went to the farm was February 2020 or January 2020. He was experimenting then with some really short, fat cigars, like way shorter than that one.
Yeah.
They were like 2x60s. Like,
oh my God!
Like he was doing.
That'd be hard to even light.
Well, so there was I can't tell you everything, but there was a reason Julio was doing what he was doing. And it was like really fun. So that kind of started this whole thing, like back 5 years ago, where he was doing these like little short, stubby cigars for other reasons. And then like over time, like, wait, if we do it this size and at this girth, like it actually is super fun cigar to smoke. So he's been toying with this for a while.
I'm getting very mad scientist vibes.
Yeah,
you just see him in his little office there, sitting there, lightning cracking outside, and he's just like, "I've got it!" Wah! Just laughing and shit and everything.
I'll just spill the beans here, because if somebody wants to steal the idea, go for it, because it's not as easy as you would think. But the whole thing really started. Julio likes to smoke a cigar down to the nub, and then he takes the nub and he jams it into a pipe.
Okay.
And then he smokes the rest of the cigar through a pipe.
Yeah.
So then he was thinking, like, what if I just made a cigar that you smoked in a pipe?
So he was wanting to skip the whole cigar and just go straight to the nub that he jams into the pipe.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's why he was making like these little discs. They were calling them tampones. Like, that's what they were calling. Like, oh, just a little cigar that you put into a pipe and then.
Interesting.
And so, like,
I probably have a ton of those in my ash bucket down here at my feet. He can have. I mean, they're going to be all different brands and whatever, but like, I mean, I don't even know, and they're going to be a little ashy at this point. But my point is, they're there.
But that's what he'd do. Whenever he had a cigar or a blend that he really enjoyed, he would want to I want to smoke all the tobacco.
Yeah.
So that's what really that was the first time I saw him experimenting with short, really short, little hockey pucks, basically.
Oh, be damned.
And then it was keep messing around, and then next thing you know, there's a 4.5 by 60 that, hey, you guys should try these.
Okay. All right then. Well,
5 years of dicking around.
So this is the Camp Aladino for this year. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a different Camp Aladino for next year. Yep. I guess we're not talking about that yet.
We have no idea what that's going to be.
Oh yeah, that's still up in the air. Like, it's just.
My guess is that Julio knows.
Well, yeah, but
I do not know yet.
Well, but I mean, I would think it'd be fairly easy. You're just throwing at least the same Camp Aladino band.
Yeah, so the Camp Aladino band will stay the same. Every year will be a new Camp Aladino, which, again, another reason for you retailers to come out or tell your retailers to come down to the farm. At some point we would like to have 100 stores, and we might cap it at 100. But that's kind of the goal, to have 100 people across the country that have been to the farm that are on this program. And then every year they'll be 1 year ahead of the game.
Well, now, not to deviate completely off subject or anything, but one lucky consumer can maybe even be in on this tasting panel for next year's Camp Aladino cigar if they win the trip as a prize at PulpitFest 2025. So you guys need to get your tickets at eventbrite.com. Come out, hang out with Trey Mac, hang out with Justo, and with every $100 purchase, you get an entry into the drawing for a trip to Camp Aladino in Honduras. And that is not an insignificant thing, because you guys don't really take consumers. You take retailers and people associated with retailers. Yeah. And so for a consumer to go, it's a big damn deal. So you can go to PulpitFest, you can win this trip, and then you can be in on the tasting panel for the next Camp Aladino cigar.
It's true.
So true.
PulpitFest, get them while they're still there. They won't be there forever.
Well, yeah. I mean, VIPs are gone. VIPs are sold out.
VIPs gone.
VIPs are gone. At this point, we're general admission, which general admission is still an awesome deal. Ticket is $35, but you get 30 of it back as in-store credit at Ken's place. So,
that's free.
At the Ash and Ale. So basically, it's like $5 and some taxes and fees that Eventbrite charges. I mean, it's next to nothing, and you get to come down, hang out, win fabulous prizes. You get the awesome gift bag. It's a good time. So, anyway, back to the topic at hand. So, the Gorbusto then will continue on, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Correct.
Will continue on in 2026 at PCA as its own line.
Yes.
Okay.
So it'll be a whole new line, and it won't, it won't be an extension of any of these lines. It'll be a whole new line of cigars called Gorbusto.
So, because the blend is different and everything else, you're not just slapping the in this case, the Aladino Cameroon band, the red and silver and whatever. You're not just slapping that on this one and saying you can get the Toro Robusto and the Gorbusto if you want. This is a totally different deal.
Yep. This is for a whole different crowd, the whole different palate. It's a different vibe completely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
I would agree with that, smoking this thing so far. It's like, it's really good, but it's not the Aladino Cameroon. It's not the same experience. It's I don't want to make it sound like, I like the Aladino Cameroon and I'm not like it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, it's different. It's still very good, but it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super fun.
A little meatier. I'd put this a little higher on the strength-o-meter than the standard issue Aladino Cameroon.
Honestly, smoking that cigar, the whole experience is very different than what Aladino has given you in the past.
It is.
It's different size, different strength profile, everything.
Interesting.
So it's going to stick out.
Now, let me ask you a question. Right now, with it being a limited deal, I don't know if pricing structure is different than when it'll come out as a main line, but do you have any what's it running now, and do you have any idea of maybe MSRP, like when it comes out?
It should be. Now, again, God only knows. We've dealt with all sorts of random things in this industry.
I was gonna say all
tariffs,
kinds of shit's going on.
Tariffs. No
yeah.
Tariffs. We don't know what's going to happen in 2026.
Yeah.
As of right now, you're looking at what should be an $11 MSRP.
Okay. So. Okay. All right. Well, that's not so bad, because that's the thing. Like, as a consumer, I don't want to necessarily point fingers at other cigars, but I've seen shorter cigars, and I've seen the price point on those shorter cigars, and I've thought to myself, why would I want to spend that when I can spend just that much more and get a full-size cigar,
Yep.
So that would be my only thing. But like this, at least you're giving a different smoking experience. You're giving a different flavor profile. You're giving a different smoking experience. I mean, I don't know how. I'm not a particularly slow smoker. I'm not like a speed smoker. I'd say I'm in the middle somewhere. But, I would think that a slow smoker could get a lot of time out of this thing.
No, I think you'll be surprised even tonight as that burns.
Yeah.
That cigar lasts.
Well, one thing I am noticing, that I am having to slow down my smoking, because I don't know if everyone can see it here, but I have a little spot right here where I was smoking just a little fast and it was starting to create like a little run. And that's just my indication. Oh, I'm smoking too fast. I got to slow it down. And so I'm slowing it down now. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and that honestly, that goes for a lot of Julio cigars. You don't want to hotbox any of those things.
Yeah.
You don't want to just huff on it. Like, enjoy your time. And they will go for a long time, and just don't get anything too hot. I see guys do that at the shops all the time. They'll get something, they'll just
crank on it. Yeah.
Put the thing, and then they just crush the cigar. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. Like,
yeah.
If that's you, you do you, but at the same time, like, you'll have a better experience and not spend as much money.
Well, and one thing I'm noticing as I'm sitting here and I'm holding the cigar and I'm just looking at it as I'm talking to you. Oftentimes when I've gone this long after a puff on it, by now it has stopped kicking off smoke. It's now like smoldering or whatever you want to call it. But it's at least it's not kicking off smoke anymore. This thing, there is still a very consistent, wispy bit of smoke coming off of it. So it's still kicking off smoke. So when I say it's a little smokestack, I mean it really is a little smokestack. It's still kicking off, here. I can maybe drink out over here. I don't know if that's even seen on the screen at all. But the point is, I can see it in the light from my lamp here. But yeah, it's still kicking off smoke. And I that's great. It tells me that it's still going. It tells me it's still burning. And I dig it. So
a lot of the feedback I've had, like, these haven't been out for very long,
and
I've already had, of those 60 stores, like, many of them have had to reorder, or even I had one store, they bought 5 boxes of each.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, you should be all right for a little bit. They sold out in a week.
Holy cow!
And they're like, we need more Gorbustos. I was like, okay, we'll send them. And they had the same thing. They're like, no, a couple of guys took them out on the golf course and then came back and told everybody at the lounge, like, no, the wind doesn't eat this cigar. Like, this cigar holds on the golf course. And so then perfect timing with golf season. Like, now it's
kidding.
So, and that's something I didn't really think about when we were putting this out. I didn't really think of it as a golf cigar, but now I kind of do. You put that thing in your mouth, you can still swing, It's not.
You're not hitting it. Yeah.
So you can enjoy that cigar on the golf course, no problem.
Perfect.
Slow burner, the wind, it'll hold up. Promise.
Okay. All right then. Well, very good. So the other cigar that's out and debuted at PCA is the 85th anniversary cigar.
Special.
Yes. See, I haven't gotten one of those yet.
We need to change. We need to change.
Well, I agree, but no, I haven't procured one of those yet.
And they're hard to procure on top of everything.
Yeah.
And they are already on back order.
Mm.
This was the first time as a company, we've ran this issue.
Yeah.
Where, we thought we had plenty of them made and ready to go for PCA, and we took all the PCA orders, and then we got done. We were like, uh-oh, more people at PCA ordered than we have boxes made.
Uh-oh.
So for us, like the box, if you've seen the box, you seen the box?
I've seen the box.
I could go get one if you wanted me to show the box.
Why don't you do that? Why don't you go grab one? So
it's a good box.
These people, fine people can see it. Because, I mean, it was on display at PCA. I had pictures, but, maybe they didn't see him. Maybe not. Whatever. I'm just kind of talking. He's going off. He's getting the box. So, it is a good cigar. I'm digging it. I did take off the little sub band, the little Cameroon band, because I get weird when it starts getting close to that. But, yeah. It's a fancy looking box. I love the yellow.
Yeah.
The car. Yeah.
That's Julio's, it's like a 55 Buick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, boom, there's the Buick.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And that yellow is going to pop in the humidor, man.
Yeah. And this Vista here.
Yeah.
We also have rugs.
Okay.
Which are available to everybody. Of course, like certain stores got the rugs based on their order, so they will have the rugs in the store. But consumers, if you enjoy the look of, let's show it again here.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the look of that. You can have this as a rug in your house or your man cave.
Maybe you're an Aladino fan and you want it. Maybe you're a Buick fan and you want it. Maybe you're both, and you're just like, I need that,
So the stores can order those from us, and we'll send you. So if you like it, if you think it's cool, go ahead and tell your store to reach out to us. We will gladly send them a rug.
Okay.
And it's really cool. And then later on this year, we will also have ashtrays.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, the fancy looking ones. Yes.
Yeah, it'd be the car.
That ashtray, it's designed to look like the car, and it's a nice looking ashtray.
Yeah,
it's a showpiece.
It is a showpiece, conversation piece, and like this whole thing, like it's all about Julio. I mean, this is him to the max. So this cigar, this 85th anniversary, it was supposed to be originally his 80th, but he's picky and blah 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 blah, and then. Next thing you know, he's 87. And we're like, you should kind of put this out. And so we called it the 85th, even though he's 87. We're like, just
cigar time. It's cigar time.
Just put it out there.
It's cigar time.
That's when we're all like, okay, like do the rugs, do the ashtrays, and then do the documentary. Do all of these things, like really showcase Julio, and that's where we're at.
Now, I saw the rough cut at PCA. But I also have seen the trailer now.
No, you did not.
I did. I did indeed see the trailer.
How did you see the trailer?
I mean, should I say how I saw the trailer?
I didn't give you the trailer.
You did not give me the trailer. It was on another show.
So if you got the trailer, it wasn't me.
Husto put the trailer out.
Oh, did he?
Husto did on another show.
Bad Husto.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Husto. Mm-hmm. So it is cool.
It is really cool.
For the people that have already seen part of the movie that debuted at PCA, it's super. If you want to learn a lot about the industry in its infantile stages, and go through the whole process to where it is now through the eyes of Julio Eiroa, you're going to be enthralled.
Well, it's not just the story of Julio, I would say. It's also the story of how Honduras became one of the three major hotbeds of cigar manufacturing in the world, behind, with the Dominican and with Nicaragua. I mean, let's be real. When people talk cigars now, at least in the States, I mean, obviously overseas, they can access Cubans, but whatever. But the thing is, right now in the States, we have three countries that we're like really focused on, and Honduras is a big player in that. And this documentary not only showcases Julio and his rise and everything, but more specifically how his story is so intertwined and connected, and basically the same story of the rise of tobacco in Honduras.
And really not just Honduras, the rise of getting tobacco out of Cuba, period.
Yeah.
Because even today, when people talk about which countries make cigars, I feel like Honduras is the last one mentioned. But if you watch this movie, you'll understand that was the first place the Cubans went.
Yeah.
They didn't go to the Dominican. They didn't go to Nicaragua. No, they went to Honduras.
And Nicaragua is a fairly recent player in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Like, no, this is not just the story of Honduras, which is cool in its own right, but this was the genesis of getting cigar manufacturing out of Cuba. This is how it started. And it does a great job. The hand-rolled guys did a wonderful job telling the story and really showcasing all the players throughout the years, even up into the current day.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful film. Like, it was more than I anticipated. I couldn't be happier.
I'm looking forward to seeing the final product.
Me too.
For a lot of reasons, not just, whatever, they did have to stop it early. So we didn't get to see the end, I mean, the version we saw basically took us right up to the plane crash, I think.
Yeah. So like the late 70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
77 is where
there's a lot of the story that comes along after the plane crash.
I mean, that was all due to the Louisiana governor wanting to talk.
Which I get it. PCA had to, figure out the schedule and everything like that. But, I know. But anyway.
I'm the governor. Put the hat on me. Let me do the talk.
I smoke cigars too. Ha!
Yeah.
Anyway.
They took one fucking puff. One puff.
I know.
Yeah. Hey, so that, I'm like, oh, this makes me love politics even more.
Hey, you know what? Find me another event where we get a police escort from the building to the park.
That
was nice. I'll give them that,
I wish they would have done that for me when I was getting shot at. I mean, that would have been great.
Well, that's true. You did have that incident,
So,
that's because you shouldn't be out walking around that late at night.
No, that happened at like 8:30.
Oh, I thought that was late.
No.
Oh.
We walked out of dinner and got ourselves inside of a mass shooting like at 8:30. The sun wasn't even down yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. I stand corrected. So.
Yeah, New Orleans. Best.
I will say, I still enjoyed New Orleans, and I'm not enthused at the prospect of it going back to Vegas. Not that I've been to PCA Vegas, but I've been to enough TPEs at Vegas that at this point I'm kind of like, I don't really want to go back to Vegas.
It'll be different than TPE, but
yeah, but still.
And at the end of the day, that all boils down to Vegas ain't what it used to be.
That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure.
I personally miss the early 2000s Vegas. And I'm sure if I was quite a bit older, they'd be like, oh, you should have saw Vegas in the 80s, brother.
Oh. Well, now, so, okay, maybe, but there was that period of time when Vegas was trying to be family-friendly and was trying to invite all these people out.
That's what they are now.
Bullshit.
It's now family-friendly now.
Well, I guess they did do their whole, like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas period of time. But, no, my thing with it now, I think it's just ridiculously overpriced. It is the biggest tourist money pit you could possibly find at this point.
And
short of anything owned by Disney.
When living in Orlando,
you're in the shadow of the mouse.
I am in the mouse's tank, buddy.
There you go.
But no, I remember Vegas was the cheap way to go. Like, you went to Vegas to get insane on the cheap. That was the whole point. Like,
and it's not that anymore. That's for damn sure.
No. And I mean, it all started when they started sweeping up all the nudie cards.
It's funny you mentioned that because the first time I was out there was 2010. And I remember all of us, my buddies and I were walking along the street, and these guys are slapping their hands and giving us these cards. And then we looked at them, and we're like, oh, shit. And we started calling them Pokemon cards. And so at the end of every night, we'd look at what we had, and we'd trade amongst each other. Like, I have 2 of these blondes. Do you have a red? Oh, you've got multiples of that redhead. I don't have that redhead.
Awesome.
So we traded Pokemon cards in order to get full sets.
So that would have been like more like Pokemon cards.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Yeah,
I like it. But yeah, I mean, that was 2010.
Did you ever call one of those phone numbers?
No, I never called one of those numbers. I was a good boy.
Tell you what, if you come to PulpitFest.
Oh, Lord. No, I'm not calling a freaking...
No. You don't have to, because I've already done it for you.
Oh, my God.
Come to PulpitFest. I'll tell you my story of 2000 and...
Oh, I thought you were going to call one. I'm like, dude, we're not calling one.
No.
Okay,
I have
got a story of having called one.
Whole long story about...
So that was... The 2010 trip was also the trip that my cab driver at one point gave us a business card. He said, if you guys need a ride, my number's on this side. If you want a pizza, that number's on the other side. And we're like, why would I call you for a pizza? And he goes, nah, it's a $500 pizza. I'm like, dude, I am not buying a $500 pizza. He goes, no. The pizza's, $500, but, it's my delivery person that comes on. I'm like, oh, now I understand what you're saying.
Now you understand why Hollywood orders a lot of pizza. Pizza.
I thought they just liked the doughy crust, but whatever. They might.
I don't know about the doughy stuff. Either way.
If there's doughy crust, then you might have a problem.
The crust is really the crust.
Oh, my God.
But, no, I mean, Vegas used to be, those cards were just littered everywhere.
I know.
And it was beautiful.
Well, but not only that. You could go out and you could find a decent meal at an affordable price. Now?
It was affordable. It was better than you would get at home.
Yeah, and now granted, let's be real. Everywhere is expensive, but I feel like Vegas, it was one of those places that lost money during COVID, tried to gouge people when they came back in order to recover a little bit, realized, holy shit, these, suckers are actually paying this and still coming back out, and they just kept the prices where they were, and it's truly unfortunate now to go out there.
Yep.
So.
It sucks.
Because that's the thing, TPE, man, they'd give 2 free nights of the hotel room. So, I saved on my hotel cost. But it still was an expensive trip to go out there to cover that show because, you have flights, which the flights, you used to be able to fly out there for like $250 round trip. Now, $500 if you're lucky. And then on top of it, your food budget. Shit, for 2 people to go out to breakfast out there, if you're getting away for $75, you're lucky.
Yeah, you're lucky.
So I mean, it's not a cheap thing at all. But anyway,
I miss
I will say I haven't gambled out there the last number of times I've been out there because I just don't have the extra cash in the budget to be gambling.
Right, it ain't what it used to be.
It is not. But that's Vegas. We're not we're over Vegas. We're done with it. I did enjoy New Orleans. I thought, now granted, I stayed in my little couple block area. From my hotel to the convention center, have those, restaurants around there and everything. I had no issue whatsoever. I thought it was great.
No, I did. The food was fantastic, as always. I mean, New Orleans food is.
You guys need to stay at the same place we stayed this year, next year. They had a fantastic little fire pit down there, and it was nice. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly where you guys stayed, but for us, we could walk to Bourbon Street very easily.
It was the Sonesta ES Suites is where we stayed. Basically, if you walked up the way, we entered into Hall I think. If you walked up to Hall C on the outside, cut a left, and went 2 blocks that way, that's where the hotel was.
Okay.
So we were not far, but
Awesome.
Neither which way. It's neither. It's neither here nor there. I know you guys. You go where the rooms are booked. So
Yeah, I go where I am told to go and enjoy it no matter what.
But I do know there were other cigar people at my place though, because I saw a guy from Aganorsa getting his shirt sleeve stapled. The button popped off, and he needed to figure out a way to close his cuff. And the lady at the front desk took a stapler and stapled his shirt together.
It's awesome.
So he was worried. He was so concerned because he knew that Terrence was just going to flog him with the cat o' nine tails as soon as he got to the booth.
Yeah,
if that button was undone, Terrence was going to go batshit crazy on him.
Terrence is such a mean person.
Hey, you know what? You don't fuck around with fashion with Terrence. I learned that when he was talking about how his son told him he wasn't into khakis. I mean, he looked just devastated at
straight
that
to
moment.
the heart.
Oh, dude, straight to the heart. So, yeah. Yep.
Terrence, man, that guy is a slave driver.
I know.
So mean. I mean,
I'm shocked that Fabian gets away with half the shit he does.
You put a picture of Terrence next to a picture of Vlad the Impaler, and you tell me what you see.
I'm just saying, they're both just like,
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Anyway.
Somebody clip this and send it to Terrence. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sure Terrence would love to hear this. Terrence needs to come back on the show. I haven't had Terrence on in a long time. And every time we get together, we threaten to do it, and we never do. And it's like, we need to do the Aganorsa experience. But, yeah, he hasn't done
The next time you and I schedule a show, don't tell Terrence I'm going to be on the show, and just be like, Terrence, you come on the show, and then be like you don't.
I love it. We'll just have you crash the Terrence show.
Yeah, be good cop, bad cop the whole time.
The Terrence and Trey Mac hour. I love it.
It'd be hilarious.
Oh, shit.
That would be a good show.
I think so. Now, you showed you didn't. Husto showed the trailer for the documentary, and that happened. But that's not the only piece of new marketing that we can put out in the world. Because if the Cigar Authority gets something exclusive, by God, I want mine. I want my piece.
And delivered.
You did. You delivered. And so now
we got the world premiere.
The world premiere of a brand new song that's going to kind of give a little insight perhaps to some of the marketing decisions that take place around the current Camp Aladino Gorbusto cigar when it becomes its own thing in 2026. I think that's fair to say.
You heard it here first, folks.
Okay. Well, then, without further ado, it's the debut of the Gorbusto song. Maybe.
Down in the jungle where the vines swing low. Ooh, yeah. Life's Gorbusto, the gorilla, putting on a show. Cigar in his paw. Look at that classy ape. What? With Husto, the maker, they're shaking the place. Funky shape. Gorbusto and Husto, kings of the scene. Whoa. Yeah. Blowing smoke like rulers. Funky and mean. Cigar in the air, let the jungle sway. Ooh, yeah. They light it up. Night turns into day. Hey, hey. Husto rolls them tight. Yeah, he's got the skill. That's right. Gorbusto puffs him proud. Gives the jungle a thrill. Woo. Lions step aside. Snakes tip their hat. Woo. When these two roll through, even leopards scat. Woo. Hear the drums go boom. Juan won't sing loud. Gorbusto and Husto, they draw a crowd. night turns into day. Hey, hey! Gorbusto, Rosto, kings of the scene. Say it! Blowing smoke like rulers, funky and mean. Let's go! Cigar in the air, let the jungle sway. Ooh, yeah! They light it up, night turns into day. Hey, hey! Gators do the shimmy, parrots sing their tune. Monkeys flip like ninjas under the moon. Oh snap! Gorbusto puffin', he's the jungle's pride. With Justo right beside him, they always ride. Nighttime vibe.
I love the horns.
Gators do the shimmy, parrots sing their tune. Monkeys flip like ninjas under the moon. Oh snap! Oh, Gorbusto puffin', he's the jungle's pride. Go! With Justo right beside him, they always ride. Nighttime vibe.
Well, that's catchy.
World premiere.
World premiere of the Gorbusto song. So, I'm noticing a jungle theme going on there.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, Humistron used to be a jungle.
I'm just saying, there is a jungle theme going on in the song. Is that something that perhaps we should be cognizant and aware of going into 2026?
I would.
Okay.
And I don't know if listeners, 2026 is a pretty important year as far as jungle creatures go.
I mean, I know what you're referring to, but are you going to say it? Because, you know.
2026, that's the 10-year anniversary of Harambe's death.
Harambe. Dicks out.
Dick's out for Harambe.
Dicks out for Harambe. Never understood that.
Well,
Never understood why he wouldn't want, tits out for Harambe. Like, why are we showing our
it's a
dicks?
sign of respect, Bishop, for fuck's sake.
I mean, I'm just saying, I would think he would prefer the other thing, but I guess, whatever.
Harambe put his dick out for the world.
I will say, if you track it back, a lot of wacky shit started going down in this world after Harambe died. As soon as he was killed, this world went to shit. And it's pretty much been there for 10 years now. Well, 9 years.
And I'm just going to throw this out there, but that was the Cincinnati Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like May 2026, right around that anniversary.
Okay.
I'll be in Cincinnati.
You gonna smoke a Gorbusto at the zoo?
We might do something to honor Harambe.
Is there gonna be like a limited edition, like
I don't know.
Gorbusto, the Harambe?
I don't know.
Oh, you need to do that. You need to have the Harambe, the Aladino Harambe.
Call it Sticks Out for Harambe.
Sticks out for Harambe. I love it.
I hope in 2026 everybody shows their sticks for Harambe.
Sticks out for Harambe.
Sticks out.
You know what? It's a solid plan. I love it. And yeah.
Poor bastard. He didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, the kid fell in his enclosure.
Yeah, it wasn't the gorilla's fault there. I mean,
no. Somebody need to be watching their kid better.
Yeah, if your kid is climbing over an animal enclosure of any type, I don't really care. Like, maybe, just maybe.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, I don't know if the prairie dogs would have been quite as big of a threat, but,
Well, you can get all sorts of diseases from prairie dogs, bro.
Well, I mean, and if they attack en masse, I mean, that's going to be a problem.
Prairie dogs have a lot of diseases. One. The other problem is
I do love prairie dogs.
I come from prairie dog country.
Yeah.
Like, you go post up about 3/4 of a mile from my family's farmstead.
Okay. I mean, I love prairie dogs.
There's a good.
Saw them in the wild in Denver.
There's a good.
They're just so cute. I had to pull over and watch them skip around.
Yeah, real fucking cute until you see,
I mean,
like what 1,500 prairie dogs look like in one area.
well, I'm sure they just rip the hell out of the land.
They destroy it.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I it's one of those things. I can recognize that while I think they're wonderful, that the people living there probably are like, these things are a pest. But
the worst thing is for horses.
Oh, falling in the holes, getting the foot in the hole.
You step a foot, and with a horse, if you
break a leg,
you're done.
Yeah, yeah.
So prairie dogs are a bad. They two things. They can kill horses accidentally.
Yeah.
And then wherever you are, if you see a prairie dog, we call them towns. So it'll be a prairie dog town.
Yeah.
1,000 prairie dogs over here, 1,000 of them over there. Guess what else you get? Rattlesnakes.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, because the snakes are going for the prairie dogs. So,
oh my
as
God.
soon as you have, if you have a prairie dog town, as we call it,
yeah,
chances are not far, somewhere in the general vicinity, you also have
shit ton of rattlesnakes.
Snake pit.
Wow.
And when you go to a rattlesnake pit, you're like, no, there's also like 1,000 snakes in one hole. They coincide with each other. So
yeah, that's no good at all.
So no, so
that's one of the few times, I've seen those videos online of the guys hunting the boars down in Texas where they put like a shit ton of tannerite out, and they like put all the food around the tannerite and they lure them all in, and they blast the tannerite and kill like 8 hogs at once. Yeah. It would be the one. I personally find that to be unsporting. I mean, I guess knowing the Texas situation and knowing that there's such a hazard and nuisance down there, I guess they have to do what they got to do. But on the flip side, I would be I'd be fine with placing some tannerite down in a snake pit like that and just blasting it and just watching snakes just get obliterated. Now, granted, you're not going to kill them all, so now you're raining rattlesnakes.
Yeah, then you're raining live rattlesnakes that.
Pissed off rattlesnakes.
I used to work at a place where there was a rattlesnake den, very, very, very close to on the edge of our facility.
Yeah,
and we were all kids. We were all teenagers in high school. There's probably like 6 of us that worked there as teenagers. Large facility. A few teenagers, and whenever there was a delineation of things, when you had your job done well, have you done X, have you done Y? If you've done all these things, the last thing on the list, like if you're still bored and still have time to work, it was go to the snake pit.
Oh God.
We were literally paid an hourly wage on certain days to go with we had a long thing with a little grapple on the end, and you would head down to the snake pit, and you would just, let's say you had 2 hours left in the day, your job was to go kill as many rattlesnakes as humanly possible, which sounds barbaric, even though like when you go and do it, you're like, yeah, there was 1,000 when we left. Like,
yeah,
we didn't make a dent, but
yeah,
we did a few. So yeah, I grew up doing that type of thing. So rattlesnakes, and see, here we are. How long have we been on the show?
We've now been recording for 57 minutes.
You're still smoking that bitch.
I am still smoking this. I was actually just thinking that I still have quite a bit more to go before I'm down to the little nub on this.
So it seems like a short cigar, an easy hour. You're going to get an easy.
Oh, easily. There's going to be an hour out of this thing.
Easy.
And again, I'm a slightly fast smoker. I'm having to like scale it back a little bit, but I keep like going back to what I do. But yeah, it's no.
And when you puff on that thing, the amount of smoke you're getting is fucking awesome.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm looking at it right now. It's just kicking off. Like, I don't know if people can see it or not. I can't.
Yeah.
But But yeah, it's just kicking off smoke just consistently.
So that's the one you should go out there. Like, hopefully somebody close to you has gone to the farm and gets the Gorbustos. Cool. If not, the other thing you got to go look for
is the 85th. Yep.
The 85th. And it's just, they're so different. The 85th is so special. If you're lucky, you'll get an 85th if you're just persistent, because.
Now, is that going to be a regular thing?
Yes, it's going to be regular production. Again, because we're already back ordered, we're still trying to fulfill PCA orders. We're getting a new shipment in June, mid-June probably. But even then, like, people that got them sold out already, and they're reordering. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, we haven't even fulfilled the first ones totally. So the cigar's been a huge hit, and I think a lot of that is because no one has had this tobacco.
Okay.
For 70 freaking years.
Yeah.
This is the OG Cuban tobacco.
So it's something really different.
It's very different. It's very fun. It's me. If I had to, if I had to do the strengthometer bullshit.
Okay.
I would put it right at 5. It's smack in the middle. Now it's flavor profile. If you're judging strength on flavor,
so it's not as strong as this guy, because I would put this definitely stronger than a 5.
No.
I mean, this is coming in like, I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of around a 7.
Yeah,
at this point.
I would go with
the
7. No, I would put the 85th at a 5. Now it's flavor profile. If you're judging strength based on flavor, it's up there, but there's not a lot of Aero in it. It's a very medium smoke as far as nicotine goes. But when you smoke this, you're smoking. This is what Cubans were.
Okay.
They haven't been this for a long time, but in the 50s, that's what Cubans were.
All right then.
Very nice flavor that is unlike anything else out there. Period. I really enjoy the retro. I'm a big retro hailer, so go nuts over the retro for this thing.
Okay.
Go find them. They'll be around, even if you can't find them now. If they're sold out, trust me, give it a month or two. They'll be back in. They'll continuously be around, but it's not going to be. Whoa! What did you just do?
The retro hail when you're down to this much of this damn thing. Oh, that picks up, man. There's that spice. There's that Corona spice. Yeah, that is some powerful spice going on in the final third of this Cameroon Gorbusto, the Camp Aladino Cameroon here. Oh yeah, no, that picked up. That picked up a lot, and I kind of knew it would because I'm feeling the tingles on the tongue, but I'm like, all right, he mentioned retro hail. I got to do it now, and no, it's there. It's definitely there. So
you're gonna get that Gorbusto song stuck in your head.
I mean,
Gorbusto and
Justo, throwing smoke up in the air. Yeah. So, well, let's do this now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. What have you been watching?
You really want to know?
What? Yes, that's the whole point of this segment. I mean, and
all right,
everybody's sick and tired of hearing me talk about King of the Hill, which, by the way, the new episodes are coming on August 4th on Hulu. And they have done a time jump, so it's present day, not, when it ended, which it would have ended, I guess, maybe right around the first year of Obama's first term or something like that. So, they've jumped it ahead. Hank apparently took a big propane project out in Saudi Arabia and moved away from Arlen in order to do this job to make enough money for his nest egg for him and Peggy. And Peggy went with him. So Lord knows the kind of shit that Peggy got into out in fucking Saudi Arabia. But they released the new intro that show, where they play the song and everything goes all fast, and you kind of get caught up as to what happened during that time. But Bobby is in his 20s, and he's apparently a chef in, I think, Dallas. Like, he's a barbecue chef, won like some barbecue competitions and shit. At one point, the guys were all standing there, and Bill coughed. Next thing you know, it's only Boomhauer and Dale and this new black guy that moved into the Hill House, because I guess Hank must have rented it out or something like that. And they're all wearing masks, but you don't see Bill anymore, so it makes me wonder, did Bill get the COVID and die? Who knows? But I'm like, oh, yeah. And Dale's running for mayor, so you got that going on. I mean, there's some wacky shit in this preview. I'm like, I am looking so forward to this. At this point, after watching, I'm in like the 11th season. There's 13 seasons of this show. I'm in the 11th season at this point. So my King of the Hill run is almost done. But let me tell you, it's some funny shit.
It sounds awesome.
I'm saying. I'm looking forward to it.
I love King of the Hill.
Dude, I did not appreciate King of the Hill when it was on before.
Really?
I think it was too young for a lot of the humor. And I just kind of like, I think it was one of those things where it just went over my head. I found it kind of boring. I've come back to it now, and like, there's so much to it that I just absolutely love now. And I'm so happy that I started binging this, and especially now that there's the new shit coming. So.
King of the Hill is fantastic.
And then I saw that they announced the drop date for the new episodes of Stranger Things, the last season of Stranger Things. That's going to premiere. Oh, shit. They're doing that in like different drops. So there's like, I think 4 episodes coming out on November 26th or something like that. So like right around Thanksgiving. Now, granted, each one of these episodes is like an hour and a half long. So basically they're like little mini movies. And then the next 3 episodes come out on Christmas. Then the last episode hits on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, one or the other. And so I'm looking forward to that too. Because once that happens, I don't know if I'm going to keep my Netflix. It's like I don't watch enough on Netflix.
You mean you're not into feminist bullshit? Is that what you mean?
Truthfully, the only reason at all that I would keep my Netflix.
You mean your PC explanation?
It would be my son's shows, Storybots and Thomas. Those would be the only reasons that I would keep it. But realistically, like, they cut some of the episodes of Thomas that were on Netflix, the ones that he really liked. Yep. And so, like, when that first happened, I was like, oh, dude, I can't show you this one anymore. It's not on there. And 2 weeks later, he was fine with whatever was on there. So,
even your son is pissed off with the feminism of.
See, yeah, there's that. And then the thing that also kind of gets my goat with Netflix is, like, they bring on all this, like, new shows and new blah, blah, blah. But all it is just dubbed over crap that they're getting from, like, South Korea and, like, over in, like, Asia somewhere that they're porting over here and whatever. And it's like, I don't care about all this stuff.
It's probably the only shit worth watching on there. Like, unless, of course, Handroll gets on Netflix. Then,
I don't know, though, man. Sharing trailers all over the place.
Yeah, listen, like... Not saying too much here.
No.
I log on. I've been thinking about getting rid of my Netflix too. I log on there and I'm like,
dude, it's so expensive.
It's expensive, and it's also like female show, female superhero. It's not for me. They're not making shows for me.
True.
Okay.
True.
I
thought about getting rid of my Disney Plus because, quite frankly, I don't watch anything on there. I kept it around for the longest time for the Marvel stuff, but even the Marvel stuff has been really shitty lately.
Terrible,
so
right?
I'm like,
Tell me you saw the South Park episode on how they destroyed Star Wars.
I don't know that one.
Well, you might want to watch that one.
I'll have to find that one. Yeah.
Really entertaining.
See, I'm not a big Star Wars guy. I haven't watched any of the Star Wars shows.
Well, it goes further than that. They really hone in on like this one woman that does a lot of the shows.
Kennedy. Well, her last name's Kennedy. I'm aware. Yeah.
They did a whole episode on her, and it is hilarious.
Okay, I'll have to look for that.
You should. It'll be very entertaining. But yeah, I've been thinking about.
All right, so that's basically what I've been watching. Is more just King of the Hill. So
that's cool.
Anyway, yeah.
Usually I would talk about some cool sci-fi shit I've been watching or something like that. But I got something else, folks. So in 25 years, 25. Now I grew up in Southwest Kansas, where we had. I grew up with 3 TV channels. That's it. And I was lucky enough at the age of 10.
Sounds like my college days.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough at the age.
That's how I got tricked into watching 700 Club. That's a whole nother fucking story.
Oh, that is definitely another. Did you watch Dawson's Creek back then?
No, I only had like 3 channels, and one of them was, well, yeah. And so like one day I came home from school in the middle of the day, and I'm flipping through the 3 channels I have, and I stumble across what I think is the news, and this guy's still in this news story. And then they pan to this old guy, and they're like, "What's your opinion?" And he fucking starts talking about it, and he's talking to Jesus and whatever else. And I'm like, this is really random. And then they throw it back to this other guy, and he does a whole nother news story. And I'm like, okay. And then they throw it back to the old guy. And I'm like, who the fuck is this old guy? Why do I care about his opinion? It was Pat Robertson. I was fucking watching the 700 Club. Next thing I know, they're asking me for money, and I'm like, what the hell? And it's like, oh, I know what this is now. I'd never seen it before. I had no idea what it was. And like, I'm watching this. I'm like, this is the weirdest news broadcast I've ever seen. And it's like CBN News. And I'm like, okay, like I'd never heard of CBN, but I mean, I got weird channels down in Carbondale. So what do I know?
They probably gave you a more genuine version of 9/11 than the other news programs do. So we can just.
He got in trouble for his 9/11 views.
What? Say it.
Oh.
Now's the time to switch to Rumble, folks. Go to Rumble. God. You can hear me talk about 9/11.
Anyway, so what have you been watching?
Okay. I was trying to talk about this. So.
I know. So you had 3 channels growing up.
Didn't you threw 9/11 at me?
No, I threw the 700 Club at you, and you picked up the ball and ran to 9/11. So.
Anyway, so I was 10 years old, and we don't have, when you're living the middle of nowhere in Kansas, you don't have professional teams at all. But what you do know, growing up in Western Kansas, is New York sucks.
I think everywhere but New York knows that.
Yeah. You're like, I don't like them folks out there in New York with their funny talk and their
New York City,
New York bullshit. And there was this team from Indiana, and they were playing the New York Knicks. I don't know shit. I don't really know much about basketball at all at this point.
I know where this is going.
I watched my man Reggie Miller score 8 points in 8.6 seconds to beat the New York Knicks and throw up the choke sign. And I was like, that's the guy. That's my guy from now on. And to this day,
that's the guy.
Reggie Miller is my favorite basketball player all time. Period.
Okay.
25 years ago, the Pacers beat the Knicks in order to go to the NBA Finals. Now they got their dicks swept by Kobe Bryant and Shaq on the Lakers.
Yeah.
But who cares? They beat the Knicks. That's all that matters. This week, we got to see the Pacers beat the Knicks again.
It's true.
And go to the NBA Finals. And that's what I've been watching. Like, literally this whole time, I've been watching this Pacer team, and I'm like, they might be back. They might be back. So I've been watching the NBA, which I know a lot of you people, the NBA. If you don't like the NBA, go take a freaking hike. And you're judging the NBA on LeBron James. And I get it. Early 2000s hit. Everything was LeBron. We all got tired of it. We'll call it hashtag LeBron fatigue.
Yeah.
Do that at your own risk. I didn't, Anyway, but a lot of people turned away from the NBA thinking it's just LeBron league. Well, I got news for you. This is 8 years in a row now where a non-American has won the MVP of the league.
Okay.
The league has changed. The refs still suck. In fact, the rules and the refs might be worse than ever. But the actual team play, the passing of the ball is beautiful. It's very much more a team sport than has ever been in my lifetime.
And that's
And
the
I
thing. For the longest time, it did seem like it became all about the superstars there for a while.
well, David Stern started that when he was commissioner, and then Adam Silver continued that at first, and he had LeBron to really push that agenda.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the world says, screw you, we're going a different route no matter what you want. And we had all these Europeans come on board with a different brand of basketball. And they're very team oriented, they're very pass oriented. The last 10 years, folks, you've been missing out. The last 10 years, the NBA game has been way better. You're still thinking it's the LeBron league. It hasn't been LeBron's league for a long time. And this Pacer team is so fun to watch because they've got two really good players in Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. But they're not mega superstars, either one of them. And they're both distributors. And the great thing about this Indiana team is they'll play, no matter what, they'll play 11, 12 guys per game. They come out, they just keep running. And it's fun. It's so much more fun than it had been in the old LeBron bully ball days. The bully ball days are over. I'm not saying Indiana's going to win this championship. I think that it's stacked against them. They got a tough matchup with the Oklahoma City Thunder. But you got two small market teams playing each other.
Yeah.
It's fun in and of itself. And I've been watching this Indiana team. Like every time the game's on, I'm like, I got to watch. And I haven't been that way in a long time. And when they can beat the Knicks, more power to you. Like, sorry, Spike Lee. Sorry, all you New York acolyte. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, New York. Buy some cigars. Shut the fuck up.
I will say, when I was at the 500, Game 3 was that evening, and I think it was Game 3. It was Game 3. Was that same evening, and there were a lot of people at the race that you could tell they were going to the race and they were going somewhere, be it to the game or going somewhere to watch the game. So that was a big day. It was a big day for sports in Indy. Was that Sunday?
Say what you want about the state of Indiana, but that state loves basketball.
Oh, dude, if there's one sport that state loves, aside from, motor racing, it's definitely basketball.
Yeah. And it's good to see them back in the championship for, again, it's been 25 years. And I'm not saying they're going to win. I think the only way they win is if they stretch it to like 7 games. They just have to keep running because the other team has way more superstars than them. But we'll see what happens. Either way, like, I'm happy because a small market team is going to win the championship.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. That's what I've been watching, honestly. That and constant rewatches of Interstellar. I tend to go back to that. I love everything about Interstellar. And every time I watch it, I'm like, could he some mushies?
You and Mr. Jonathan need to do that.
Is he into that?
I gather that that's the case.
I would totally do that if I didn't think.
I don't know for certain, but there's been enough implied statements that I think so.
If Mr. Jonathan is listening, and then let's be real, did he make it this far? Probably not.
No, but Dave and Ed are. So if they make it this far, they'll tell him to skip
ahead. All right. Well, let Mr. Jonathan know that I'd be totally down for Mushies and Interstellar Night.
Oh, God.
But I don't want.
You just got to watch yourself because you don't know where that can go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want none of that swinger shit.
The pants stay on.
I'm a little concerned about that being thrown into the whole, thing. Not that I haven't been there before. I'll be able to handle myself.
If he asks you at the end of it if you want to smoke a Gorbusto, the answer is no.
Yeah, I'll be like, stick up for Harambe.
Oh my God.
I'll smoke a Gorbusto and watch you. Like, I don't know, Mr. Jonathan. Like, I don't know what you're into. But yeah, if the other guys are watching, like, trust, I know Mr. Jonathan's probably into some weird shit.
Oh yeah,
which is totally cool. Like, I'm down with weird shit too, but I might be just a passive participant.
No, I got you.
But like, if you're just down to like set up a big screen in the woods and just watch Interstellar and
in the woods.
Well, you can set up these like that's the cool thing now. You can set up.
No,
these,
I know you get the screens and the projectors and everything, but like, you want to do this in the woods?
Well, theoretically, yes. Mr. Jonathan that mix is a wild card.
It is. I'd be more concerned about the critters. I had a coyote run across my lawn Thursday morning. My neighbor came over with pictures.
He's okay.
I'm in the middle of town, man. Like, I'm not in the like area where you're gonna be encountering coyotes.
Coyote is not going to take you down.
Not me. Now the little dachshunds that live 2 doors that way.
Ooh, the dachshunds do.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, there's critters around, so
That's on them to put their dachshunds inside, not you.
I get it. I just, I have my wildlife. I have my little skunk friend, and I have my raccoon friend that come around periodically, but I've never seen a coyote.
Raccoons on mushrooms are cool as shit, by the way.
Oh my god.
Not that I know anything about that. But.
Nah, not at all. So.
No, like I would be down to do that, Mr. Jonathan, if he gets this message. Like,
well, you know what? I mean, if you can get Justo to get you up to the New England Cigar Expo,
which is what isn't that right after?
It is right after PulpitFest.
PulpitFest, and if you don't have your tickets,
PulpitFest, yes,
now's the time to get your tickets.
Eventbrite.com. You want to hang out? I think maybe we ought to restrict it to where. You don't get to hear the story of you calling the number on the card in Vegas unless you come to PulpitFest.
What if we did this? 2 trips are involved.
Whoa. Back the train up. Boy, that was weird. My camera actually pulled back when I did that. So, okay. So, the automated fucking camera thing on the Zoom is weird because it like tracks down and see like that. It's really
weird. When you're like, ooh.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry. 2 trips.
No, 2 trips. And I'm going to throw this the other direction. So if they're listening, like just listen.
Oh my gosh.
The second thing you can win at PulpitFest would be a trip to New England.
Back the truck up. What now?
Well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying getting into the festival.
Okay. So you're not saying the
expo. Win a trip to New England to watch Interstellar with me and Mr. Jonathan in the woods.
Oh.
I know Trent's fucking Googling this shit already.
I was saying, there are a few people that probably would be very excited at that prospect. And Trent being one of them. But yeah, no, that definitely, that's an interesting, boy, that would make for an interesting night for somebody.
Let's see if we can, I'm just throwing it out there. Let's see if we can cross-pollinate this.
Okay.
But throw it out there on the parishioners page. If people are interested and Mr. Jonathan, puts up instead of shuts up.
Yeah.
It'll be a night with me and him watching Interstellar, and maybe there's some, extracurriculars involved. I'm not into the key party thing.
No.
But if that happens, that happens. Like, I'm not against it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, there you go.
Just throwing this out in the universe, and we'll see what happens.
Just see what happens. Yeah.
Nothing will happen if you don't say it.
No, that's true. That I guess that is accurate. You're right.
Now that it's been said, Mr. Jonathan, the ball is in your court.
Well, and we do know, at least we've heard stories about what he does with balls. So
we've heard a few of those stories.
Indeed. All right. Well, speaking of which, given the gentleman that does the little intro, I guess it's time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week.
Guess what, motherfucker?
So yeah, I'll drop that in later.
Oh, you're going to drop me. I was like, where's the intro?
No. I'll drop it in later. So, what have you smoked and enjoyed this week?
Okay,
I'm putting you on the spot.
I've got some weird ones.
Go for it. I like the weird ones. That's how I learned about. Well, I guess now it's Fortaleza E Libre.
Yeah, they've changed names.
Yeah.
But that's what got you on one.
Yeah, you bringing it up was this segment. You brought up the Sun Country back when it was Fuerte Libre. That's back then, and you said that, and then next thing you know, Greg's reaching out and is like, "I love this bit," and I'm like, "I'd like to try the Sun Country," and next thing you know, bam, he's on the show, and I'm trying the Sun Country.
Dude, those are. I like that cigar a lot.
Dude, the Sun Country, I tell people all the time, like, if you can get a hold of it, the Sun Country is a Connecticut like you've never had before. That thing has got strength to it. It's got flavor to it. That is, without a doubt, like, the highlight. I mean, I've only had a couple of his other ones. But for my money, like, I'd buy a Sun Country all day long if I saw him in the store.
I've
managed to find them in one shop. Smoker's Choice in Brownsburg, Indiana.
Okay.
They had them. I don't know if they still do, but they used to have
them. New one he did, the Bushwhacker is quite nice.
So I had that one at PCA, but I had one that I guess he'd been sitting on for a while. It had like 5 years of extra age on it. And I smoked that around the fire pit at the hotel that night, and holy shit, that smoked amazingly well.
Very good.
I got tons of time, tons of flavor. I mean, that was a fantastic cigar.
It is very good. So I would recommend
he got his 100th account at PCA. So
nice.
He's slow and steady wins the race.
He's out there doing it himself.
Well, that's exactly it. He's essentially a one-man show. So, I mean, I give him a lot of credit for getting to 100 accounts like that and everything. So,
yeah, I just saw him at my old Kentucky Herf out there in Ashland, Kentucky.
Oh, nice.
Good times out there.
You saw Sean there, too.
Holy shit.
I was wondering if you were going to get to that, bringing that up. It's like, yeah.
Like, when you go to my old Kentucky Herf, it's a big event where you got to buy tickets, and there's usually like 300 people that buy tickets. And they get in a line. You have everything's in this giant square, and everybody comes in line. You punch the card, you give them a cigar, blah, 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 blah. So I've been doing that for a couple of hours, and all of a sudden, I'm not looking at who I'm grabbing the ticket from. And I grab a ticket, punch it, grab the cigar, and I'm like, whoa, what are you doing here?
He had to escape the Upper Peninsula is what he had to do.
I was looking like, you're a long ways from home, buddy.
Yeah.
But I hope he had a great time.
He said he did.
The Herf is a whole different experience. It's a lot of fun. And it was really cool to see him so far away from home and there at the Herf. It was cool.
So I got to ask, before we get into the three cigars and everything, we're on the subject of the Herf. And I had Sean on, and we talked all about the event and everything, and he described it to me. And so it's obviously a trick-or-treat based event where you go around to each booth. Like you said, you get your card punched, you get your cigar, you move on to the next one. How do you, as a rep, feel, and I might be putting you on the spot with this question, how do you feel about events that are organized that way versus events where all the cigars are in a goodie bag that they get right up front, and here you go?
I don't want them to be in a goodie bag. Period.
You don't like the consumer to get them all at once.
No, and that's one reason I don't do many multi-vendor events. I'm sure all of them are good for the consumer. At the end of the day, they get free cigars and shit.
Yeah.
But for the retailer or for the manufacturer, I'm not sure that's the way to go. Damn sure from the manufacturer, I don't like it, because if I'm coming to a multi-vendor event with all these people, I want to talk. I want to at least have a chance to talk to everybody that bought a ticket.
So by forcing them to come to your booth to stamp that card and get that cigar, that's your at least one moment.
And within those 5 seconds of meeting that person and giving them the cigar that we're there to give them, I can know, hey, I should talk to this person a little bit more. They want to know more about Aladino or whatever. Like, it gives me so many more opportunities to talk about what we do and how we're different.
Okay.
Whereas just check in and you get your bag of cigars and then you just roll them around. Maybe I talk to 10% of those people, maybe 20, who knows? You don't know. But when it's set up the way the HERF does, they all have to come to your table to get their free cigar. And it gives me just a sliver of chance, and I can identify pretty quick. I'm like, this person just wants a free cigar. Don't push it any further than that. Let them look at your table, get their free cigar, whatever. But then there's plenty of other people like, dude, we do so many things. Like, let me tell you about Aladino, blah, blah. And I have a small window to talk to them before they move on to the next table. And then usually, like, you'll get a percentage of people that then come back after they've been around to all the different booths. They come back like, oh, I want this 5-pack or I want this box or whatever. But you have a chance to reach every person, at least tell them why Aladino is different.
That's fair.
Whereas if you just get the goodie bag up front, who knows who's going to come to your booth? So, and I like the interaction. I like talking to people. I mean, that's my favorite part of this whole job is talking to people that have a similar interest as me. And I just want to be like, hey, we're both into cigars. We're both probably into a lot of the other shit. Let me tell you why this is what I smoke. Boom.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair. Because I'll say as a consumer, obviously I like getting everything up front and, whatever. So I guess, it's just one of those, I guess the organizer has to decide who they're wanting to work with there. But I guess to your point, you don't do a lot of the multi-vendor events that maybe go that route. So,
yeah, I'll give you a pretty good example. Like Island Gym was right next to me, right?
Yeah.
And so let's take this out of the context. Let's say you just got your bag of free goodies, and then you just got to roam around trying to find somebody.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you find Island Jim and like, holy shit, Island Jim's here because he dresses differently. He always sticks out.
Yeah.
Maybe. But let's say you don't know who the hell Island Jim is. He would have to take a couple of boxes of cigars and just start walking around the show and forcefully like talking to people. That's not the best way of doing this because then we all end up looking like used car salesmen.
I gotcha.
But I still know Jim's a cool ass dude. He would still have done something like that if he needed to. But you don't want 30 different reps and brokers doing that. It's just gross.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me 30 seconds to give you my elevator speech, see what I do, and then come back and talk to me after you've gone through the whole line. Like,
oh. All right. No, that makes sense. I will respect that answer. So
that's my opinion.
All right. Now, 3 cigars. You said you had some weird ones.
So here's a weird one. I smoked the new Deadwood Dominicana.
Okay.
Way out of my range.
I have not smoked it, but I have purchased a number of them that I then took over to Pinky, and she paid me back for them. She really likes those.
Yes, and the reason I went and got one was because I had a handful of store owners contact me and say, have you smoked the Deadwood Dominicana? I said, no. And they're like, you should because it's a Tatiscan.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, really? And a lot of them were like, it's basically a Tatiscan, but it's marketed different.
Okay.
I got one, and guess what? I enjoyed it because it was, now I would say at least the one I had was a little sweeter than what we do. So it was like, we sweeten our cap on a nice mellow Connecticut. Theirs was the sweetness lasted longer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But on the surface is like, this is pretty much what we do. And
so then when that sweetness wears off, is there still an infusion of flavor in the
well, so that's what I didn't quite understand about how they,
because you don't have that in the Tatiscan.
Now in the Tatiscan, the sweetness wears off in about 10 to 15 minutes.
And then it's just a cigar.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the Dominicana lasted longer than that, but the flavor profile was very similar. So I don't know if maybe you could sweeten the cap and maybe the binder inside
Okay.
and get it to I don't exactly know what they're doing, but it's a very similar concept, and their marketing is on point. So I was very interested to smoke that cigar, and I did enjoy it. And I was like, I would smoke this with a cup of coffee. I haven't done it yet. I just had one, and that was just literally last weekend.
Okay.
And I'm interested for multiple reasons, not just that cigar, but like what could we do better?
Yeah.
And so that one, I would throw the Deadwood Dominicana. It's a white band. It's quite nice.
Okay. All right. Well, going along with the Connecticut route, my first one was the Red Band Crux Epicure. Their Connecticut. I got that sample at PCA, and I just smoked that on my driving and delivery day. It was the first cigar of the day for me, and I'll say that thing lasted the whole drive up to the printer, and it smoked really well. I mean, I like the Crux cigars. The red one I tend to not go for because I'm not much of a Connecticut guy by and large, but that one that it for that moment it hit really well. I enjoyed it.
Sounds like you're similar to me. I don't smoke many Connecticut's, but I'm always looking for more Connecticut's to put into my rotation.
Well, yeah, because you can't always just start the day with something full of spice. You know, I tend to go for that Habano sun grown type of space a lot, and that tends to have a lot of spice to it.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily want at 8:30 in the morning to be firing up a spicy cigar. I want something a little bit more mellow and mild, but I don't want one that where I spend $10 to $12 and I feel like I'm smoking air. I want something that's actually got some flavor to it, maybe a little bit of strength, just something that to where I'm like I know I'm smoking a cigar, but something that's got a little bit, like I said, flavor. I want something that's got some decent flavor to it, and so I'm always on the lookout for a good Connecticut. And that one was good. So I forget about it frequently because I really like the yellow banded, the Crux Habano, and but this red one, like I said, they gave me a sample of it at PCA, and I'm like, I've got this in the humidor. I'll smoke it today, and it smoked really well.
Liked it.
There you go. So what's your next one up?
Next one up was a cigar that I heard everybody raving about at PCA.
Okay.
Didn't get one till a couple of days ago, but that would be the JFR 20th anniversary.
I didn't get one of those from Terrence, but I am on the lookout. So
it is very good.
Yeah.
And if you learn the backstory to it, it makes sense why it's very good.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say those were definitely a worthy purchase. I was into it. I'll smoke some more of those for sure.
Now, okay, JFR tends to be on the very affordable side. With this being an anniversary, did they go up in price?
I want to say I paid like $11.
That's not too bad in the grand scheme of things.
No.
Yeah.
Not in today's market.
No. Especially for an anniversary.
It was over 10. I think it was 11.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair enough. There you go. So my second one is, I mean, for anybody who listened to the last episode, I smoked that Davidoff Nicaragua Toro. And, man, I had that thing chilling in the humidor, and I was just looking for something to smoke for that episode. And that thing smoked wonderfully. I said it on the show. I don't smoke a lot of Davidoffs because going back to what we were just talking about, for the price point, they tend to be like smoking air for me, and it's just not, it doesn't hit my palate. But the Nicaragua and the late hour tend to be the two that they put out.
I really like the late hour.
Yeah, those tend to be the two they put out that I'm like, you know what? Those are solid cigars, and I don't feel bad about spending the money to enjoy one of those every once in a while because I get enough flavor and strength out of those that I feel like it's worth it.
I'm with you.
So what's your last one?
The Aladino 85th.
85th. Ah, the jealousy, the FOMO and the jealousy is running wild.
This is the last one I have left personally, and I only have this because I bought this we did the debut event. Sorry, Ken, you were not there. Sorry, Ken, you just weren't there. You had other things to do overseas, and you were super cool.
I know, right?
Did a little debut event over at Ash and Ale with Justin, and I grabbed a couple of each, Toro and Robusto, and I've got one Robusto left.
My God.
And love that cigar. I mean, again, there's just nothing else that tastes like it. End of story. Mellow experience, like a 5 in strength, but a whole new flavor profile that's just made me super happy. To this day, I still don't know what I would pair it with. I would not, even though it's a 5, I would not use it as my morning cigar.
Okay.
Still an afternoon or evening smoke. If you only are going to smoke one cigar your day,
yeah,
that's a really high class way of doing it. If you're a 2 cigar a day kind of guy, you're going to smoke something super mellow and creamy in the morning, transition this later. I wouldn't smoke this in the morning just because, I don't think I can pair coffee with it.
Okay.
I haven't tried it yet, but just in smoking, I've smoked 5 of them since it got released.
It doesn't hit you as one that would.
Don't think I would pair it with coffee. No. In fact, I really haven't paired it with anything other than water at this point. It would be fun with certain cocktails.
Okay.
There is basically what I get out of that cigar, I get 3 things. 2 very forward, and the third is minor. Forward, I get floral and leather.
Okay.
Then the third note, which is a little bit more subdued, I get some citrus. So there's some mixed drinks that I haven't done it with yet that I would like to try it with. Or I would like to try it with tequila. Haven't done that yet either, but I could see that being a late night mezcal or tequila smoke for sure.
Okay.
Haven't done that yet, so I don't exactly know. I'm just thinking out loud. But there's just nothing like it. It's super classy, super mellow. When you smoke it, you're smoking some super high quality stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
Love it.
Can't get this tobacco anywhere else. I'm super stoked. I'm just sad that I'm not going to be able to get it all the time because we're not going to do samples of it. I'm not going to be able to call the office and say,
yeah,
no matter what my position is, I'm going, hey, send me 20. No, they're not going to do that.
No. Well, no, I get that, but it'll be around.
It will
be around. Yeah.
It will be. When I see it at the shop, I'll go ahead and buy it myself because it's just you got to smoke one, Nick. I'll see what.
Oh no. I will. It's my mission. I'll find
got. Do you know who in your area carries it?
I know at least one place.
Okay.
In my area that carries it.
There's somebody in St. Louis that has it.
No. Yeah, there's at least one place in St. Louis that carries it. So, but we'll figure it out. I mean, worst case scenario, I just tack it onto my show pack with the Cigar Authority thing, and it just comes from 2 guys. So, I can do that.
It will really definitely feel. I think as of yesterday, they had 2 boxes left.
Okay.
So
it might be a little limited for right now, but
don't fuck around is what I'm telling you. Don't.
I'll make sure it gets done. So,
if not, you holler at your boy. I might know a guy that can.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should do a show when you smoke it. When you get one,
I think that would be a wonderful idea.
Do another show together because it's been a while since we've done this.
It has. You've been busy.
The listeners probably thank God we don't have to listen to a 3-hour show.
We're at an hour 42 right now. I don't
think
we're going to unless things go completely off the rails. I don't think we're going to hit 3 hours here. I mean, I've got one more cigar, but then after that, realistically, it was going to be wrap up time. So,
I thought this was the 9/11 episode.
No. We had talked about Pandas, perhaps, but we're already at an hour 42. I don't know if we want to get into Pandas.
Right before Nick gets into cigar number 3, just Google Building 7.
So Building 7. So my last one is the Villiger La Libertad. It's the one that when I met Renee at TPE 2021, they were premiering and promoting the La Libertad. I had one of their cigars prior to that. I had the TAA 2020, and I really enjoyed that. And so then, I met Renee at TPE, and they had the La Libertad, and I smoked that, and I was like, this is great. Peppery, it's earthy, it's really, really good. And it had been a while. It had been a long while since I'd had one. And then there were some at PulpitFest last year, and so I had another one there, and I'm like, man, I like this cigar. And then today I've been shifting around cigars from one humidor to another, and what did I come across? But by God, a whole stash of them. And I'm like, look at this. I still have some La Libertad. So that was the first cigar I fired up today, and it was well worth it. I enjoyed it. So good cigar.
I like it a lot.
A lot. I will say I did enjoy the Camp Aladino Cameroon Gorbusto here. I got it really pretty far down. I mean, I took it down to the short nub there.
Over an hour.
It was getting over an hour. And, I mean, it was getting to the point that if I would have kept going, I was going to start singeing fingertips. So that's why I gave up on it. But, no, fantastic cigar. The pepper quotient picks up really, really sharply at the end. It gets nice and spicy at the end and everything. Not like slit your throat or anything like that, but it definitely picks up versus the beginning of the cigar. So it's one of those ones that, if you're ever curious about a cigar ramping up, this is one to try for that. It definitely ramps up over the course of the smoking experience. It's good for that. So, and the thing, it was a smokestack all the way up to the end. It's only just now kind of stopped smoldering and smoking over in my ashtray for a little while. So, no, fantastic cigar. I dig it.
Get ready for the Gorbustos, folks.
Gorbusto. You heard it. You heard the song. I'm not going to play the song again now. If you missed it, go back in the episode. You find it. But
World premiere.
What?
World premiere.
World premiere of the song. It won't be the last time you hear it.
No.
Yeah.
I've got a few other songs ready to queue up too.
Trey Mac's just going to be playing it on a loop at all the Gorbusto events.
I've done a few events already where they played that song when I walked in.
Nice. See?
The movement has started.
It's there. It's there. It's a fun name. Gorbusto.
Yeah. Gorbusto.
Yeah.
When I'm stuck at an airport or with a layover, that's when I tend to write lyrics and try to create songs.
Oh, God.
So I've got multiple albums ready.
Tons of layovers.
Sometimes the way AI is these days, if you can write lyrics, chances are you can make a pretty badass song. But even then, learning how to talk to AI to get done what you want to get done.
Yeah.
So one good song might take me 50 tries.
Okay.
But when you're stuck in an airport,
you got all the time in the world.
Do that in a couple of hours.
There you go.
So we've got the Gorbusto song. I got another song about Justo in outer space. That's badass. In fact,
outer space.
The song about Justo in outer space legit might be the best.
Now, see, that I will say, you've brought up a point that I learned at PCA, and the next time I want Justo on the show, because he and we're going to talk Star Trek.
He's a Trekkie.
I had no idea, and I got so excited when I found that out. I'm like, I am going to totally nerd out over Star Trek with Justo.
He's a Trekkie.
Is it do you know, what era of Trek? Is he an all-around, or is he an old school, 60s
well,
show?
He's probably more old school, but he's still all the way around. Because
Because there's the new stuff on Paramount Plus, and I don't know how much of that he's watched.
I don't know if he's got into the new stuff. I told him to because I prefer a lot of the new stuff. Like,
dude, Strange New Worlds on Paramount Plus is fantastic.
They've done a really good job. Or like
they have.
Other storylines have gone to shit. I would say the Trek lines have done pretty damn well.
Yeah. Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks, both amazing shows.
They're good.
Yeah. So.
And I don't know if he got into that yet, but if he did, he would love it.
But I didn't know if he was like old school or new next generation. I mean, let's be real, I can geek out with him on pretty much all of it except Voyager. Voyager is the one that I never got into Voyager.
So I had to get into Voyager when I was younger. Next Generation, I got to watch a lot of. Again, we had 3 channels.
Well, yeah.
Next Generation came on late at night all the time.
So that's what you watch, yeah.
I watched a lot of Star Trek Next Generation. And then Voyager later on, and then it was fine, but it wasn't Next Generation.
No, it wasn't. Now, Deep Space Nine, I still contend, is probably the black sheep, but dude, it's quite possibly the best Trek in my opinion.
Deep Space Nine is fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Well, they did so much in that show that they don't get credit for. Like they were doing the episodic storyline thing long before everybody else was. I mean, that was part of their problem is that it wasn't good for syndication because if you watched it out of order, it didn't quite make sense, you know. But like, oh, dude, that show, so good. And then the whole Dominion War, you know, showing like the more militant side of everything. That was so much fun. I mean, yeah, it was good. Anyway, I'm geeking, but that's the thing.
You gotta get Husto on.
I want to get Husto on so we can geek out about Star Trek.
Love it,
because I didn't know, and it was your guys with the rover, the rocket cigar.
The Claro.
Yeah, they dropped it to me that Husto was in Star Trek, and I'm like, wait, what? And yeah, no.
Yeah, so that's another cigar to be on the lookout. The Claro Mission Zero, which is extremely limited, extremely pricey. It's badass. You're looking at an Aladino rocket ship with Claro. Claro made the rocket ship. We just put the fuel inside the boosters.
There you go.
And that cigar is super limited. If you can find it, go get you one. Number one, it's a collector's item. And number two, that cigar inside there is in the main rocket. You're not going to get that anywhere. We didn't have very many of them to begin with. And when Claro was down on the farm with us, they fell in love with that blend. And they're like, we have to do this. I'm like, it is a really good blend. That's nothing like anything else that we do. But we didn't have many of them made. So,
which works for a limited product of this.
It works perfectly, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only have like 1,500 of these cigars, period. So something like this is actually what makes sense to do it with.
There you go.
I don't know if they've got available on their website, or I know they're working with retailers too. We'll definitely get them in all the Aladino lounges at some point. But the Claro Mission Zero, it's the Mission Zero. We're just getting off the ground, folks.
And that's Klaro.
Yes.
Okay.
Super fun.
There you go. Well, dude, it's always a pleasure.
Dude, pleasure's all mine, baby.
I enjoy having you on.
We didn't even. You kind of like drew me into.
We kept this on track.
You told me we were going to talk about 9/11. That's the whole.
I did not. I did not. You, in fact, said you wanted to, and I said, I don't know if I'm at that point.
You were like 9/11 and pandas. Let's get into it.
But, I mean, I'm all in to talk about pandas, but 9/11. I'm like, yeah, I think we need to let that one go.
Are you afraid of your overlords that might?
I just, I know. It's just not quite the same as talking about why the moon is not the moon. It's just a little different.
Exact same thing.
It's really not.
No, it really is. Both of them have data in your face that tells you a certain answer. Both of them. But if you watch the videos,
and then there's pandas.
So now you're trying to get me to talk about pandas. All right, I'll do that. Let's end the show on that, folks. Listen.
Oh, this is so. So we might go 3 hours now.
Oh no, just listen. Google Building 7, and or you can start there, and we can talk at another date about this. But,
Okay.
maybe you're one of those people out there that think that the government and the news has told you the truth from day one of your entire fucking life, and if you're one of those people, we're probably not friends because keeping it 100.
God, after watching 11 straight seasons of King of the Hill, you're my Dale Gribble.
Oh, God.
You've even got the sunglasses going on.
Oh,
you
my.
need an orange. You need a fucking orange Mack truck hat, and then this would just be perfect.
Tell you about that dang old internet, man. Just crazy.
I love it. Oh fuck.
Well, okay, all right. Before you go, if this is just random and new,
yeah,
and I don't have an answer. Again, I don't give answers. I just look at things. I'm like, well, that's strange.
You ask questions.
Yes, like
yeah.
Certain things just don't make sense to me.
Okay.
And so, if you're listening, especially if you're on the YouTubes or Rumble, put some comments down below that'll help me out, because again, I'm just a curious type, and when I see questions, I just want some answers. This goes back a couple of months ago. There was this new ancient Chinese art exhibit that came to town, so, and I had nothing to do one afternoon, which doesn't happen very often, but get on the Google machine and what's around Orlando that I can go do. And one was this cool Chinese art exhibit. Yeah, I'll go check that out. What am I gonna? I got nothing to lose. Maybe I'll meet some Asian chicks,
Yeah.
So I go there, and after a couple of hours, and something didn't sit right at all.
Okay.
I didn't quite know what it was till I got into the car, but I just remember it was a very cool exhibit. The art was fucking phenomenal.
Okay.
The history, everything I learned, it was well worth the small price of admission.
Yeah.
Put my car, I'm like, there was something weird about this. And then it clicked. I didn't see no fucking panda bear.
Really?
All this
no
ancient art.
Yeah.
Not a single panda bear.
They're very proud about their panda bears. They put them in a lot of stuff.
Not only proud, they used them as political hostages.
It's true. A lot of diplomacy around that bear.
Yeah, the diplomacy around the panda is crazy. Even if the U.S. and China aren't getting along, they take away the pandas from the zoos.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it now is even it's $1 million. If you want a panda at your zoo, it's $1 million per year.
Boy, now, okay, let's stop for a quick second. A little deviation here for a moment. What happens if a panda is born on American soil? Does that make it an American citizen?
Well, let me tell you why.
Oh.
It's not going to fucking happen.
Just saying.
It's not going to happen.
Why is that?
Pandas are retarded.
We've had pandas born on American soil.
Maybe two?
Well, at least a couple.
They don't bang, bro.
I'm just saying.
Fact,
I know for a fact that there have been some born
and the whole reason you know is because it creates this whole diplomacy fucking issue.
I'm just saying.
So I'm not one of those people out there. I'm not saying pandas aren't real. They're real.
Yeah.
They don't make no damn sense. So that's all I'm saying. Look into it. They don't make any sense. And especially when you see what kind of pawns the government uses them as. And is a panda an illegal immigrant? If it's born in the U.S., does it have citizenship? I don't know. I don't have those answers.
I'm just wondering, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if China wants their pandas back, we'll give them back the two that they gave us. But the ones that are born here, they're Americans.
Yeah, well, you would have 2 pandas in the whole fucking United States.
I'm just saying, we only have a
chances
couple
are
as it
those
is.
2 pandas are not going to bang.
We only have a couple as it is. So I mean,
here's the first weird thing. Let's just talk about panda reproduction. Let's get into that. Okay, so you got to wonder, how in the hell have these things lasted for millennia? You watch the videos; they're the bumbling retards.
They do bumble and stumble all over the place. They fall down a lot.
So how have they lasted? You don't know. And then you start looking at the reproduction. Now, pandas can only mate for like, don't quote me on this because I only got into this a week ago.
Okay, so the data is still early.
Like humans, you can get a chick pregnant, like, there's a few days each month where, chances are pretty big, big. Not with pandas. It's more like 3 days a freaking year. It's very rare. It's hard.
Very small window. Small window.
And to make the window even harder, pandas don't know how to do it.
Well, yeah, because they only have to worry about it 3 days out of the year.
So they don't know how to copulate. To make it even more strange and weird, the only way they learn how to do it is if they watch other pandas doing it.
Panda porn.
Yes, panda porn, very important that's where we're at because there's not many pandas.
God.
So when pandas like in the U.S. and there's not many pandas here, if you want them to copulate, you literally have to show them videos. and to learn, this is what you do, Panda 1 and 2.
They do learn quite by watching things, and I know this because I did see a video where it showed certain pandas that when they were breaking the bamboo, like to break it off, they were grimacing, making faces like, whatever. And it's because they had watched the zookeepers
do it
when they were breaking off. It was tough for the humans to break it off, and so they made faces they were breaking off. So these pandas learned when you break off the bamboo, even though they had the strength to do it, they had to make the face.
Yeah, in other words, they can't figure it out themselves.
It's true, yeah.
How the hell have they lasted this long?
I don't know.
That's question 1. Now there's a little bit of an answer there. Maybe they haven't lasted this
long. Well, yes, because you sent me down the rabbit hole of when did we first discover pandas?
Yeah, it was a white dude.
Not even a Chinese guy.
Not even a Chinese guy. A white dude.
Yeah.
That discovered pandas in like the 16th century.
I thought it was like 1861, wasn't it? Or was it 1680? I don't know.
No. It's 1680. It's older than the U.S. by like 80 years.
Okay.
So pandas have only been on record about 80 years longer than the U.S. has been a freaking country. And I believe it was
Now, see, this is weird. So, like, I Google, when did pandas first appear? Now, this is saying that giant pandas first appeared roughly 2 to 3 million years ago, with fossil evidence suggesting they were widely distributed across Asia. But
they say they have fossil.
However, the first panda the giant panda was unknown to the Western world until 1869, when it was discovered by a French missionary, Pierre Armand David.
Yes.
So
we have 2 things going on here that makes it even more strange, where you have people like, no, we have fossil records of the giant panda, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I've been to a lot of Smithsonian's. Ain't no one showed me no panda fossil. So either you're keeping that under wraps and you don't want us to see the panda fossils, or 2,
maybe it's just another bear.
Well, I mean, it is technically a bear.
Yeah.
But let's
somewhat related to the raccoon.
Oh, Jesus. But
you sent me down the panda rabbit hole the other day, so damn it, I know this.
This is my fault. But here's what I'll say: like, they're not fully discovered until what was it, 1680? Is that what you said?
1869.
It's 1869.
Yeah, it's after the United States.
By a Frenchman.
Yeah. And it was known as Pierre David's bear, and I would think Pierre David probably gets smooshed together to make panda.
Here's why this doesn't make any damn sense. So you're telling me they're in it. They're in China.
Uh-huh.
And we have all the whatever you want to call it, the Chinese zodiac, right? The year of the horse, the year of the rat, blah blah blah.
The year of the panda.
And there's no year of the panda, and there's a year of the dragon.
It's true.
So you're telling me there's all these real animals than a dragon, but no panda. So is a dragon more real than a panda? I don't know. That's for you to decide.
Well, see, now you're getting into the question of, did dragons exist, and are they just like extinct now?
Here's the other thing, right? So they're from China. Somehow they never wrote about them. They never put them in art, ever. They weren't discovered till some Frenchie found them in 1860. But here's what really flummoxes me.
Oh boy.
If you look into pandas, they're technically supposed to be carnivores.
Yes, but they eat bamboo because they like bamboo, but it like totally fucks their whole system up.
So they only eat bamboo exclusively.
But they don't get enough nutrients from bamboo, so they have to eat more bamboo, and so they're just sitting around eating bamboo instead of eating the thing they should eat, which would give them all the energy in the world.
And they take multiple shits a day. So they're eating something they don't need. They're vegetarians, even though they're not made to be vegetarians. Eating copious amounts all day. They're eating pounds upon pounds upon hundreds of pounds of this bullshit a day.
It's fibrous bamboo.
Makes no sense.
No.
But here's the really weird part. Let's say they've existed forever.
Okay.
So there all the time, and somehow they got overlooked. Here's why I don't think they ever got overlooked. Chinese monks held at high esteem.
Yes.
Those are human beings that decide to be vegetarian, and they don't have sex.
Okay.
And they usually live out in the wilderness.
Sounds like pandas.
You would think if those people ever found a panda, that would be like a god to them.
It's true.
Here's an animal
doing exactly what they do.
Same thing that we do. And yet they never wrote a single fucking thing about the panda.
That's fair.
Starting to sound like a lot of fucking bullshit to me.
I love this. You're going to start having people talking to you about how the moon doesn't exist and how you don't believe in pandas. This is going to be wonderful.
This is what pisses me off when people are like, moon doesn't, the moon doesn't. I'm like, I never said the moon doesn't exist, you dicks. Okay? And now I'm telling you, pandas do exist. I'm not saying pandas aren't real, but what I'm saying is
they just don't make sense.
Somehow they just magically popped up in the late 1800s.
Which is the same thing you said about the moon. That, it just magically popped up and the moon doesn't make sense. In this case, pandas magically popped up and just don't make sense.
Same thing. So maybe the answer lies, you find out who either created the moon or the panda, and you get the answer to both questions.
Maybe pandas are moon people.
I didn't say that. That is not at all. No.
Just saying.
No, the people that made the moon might have made the panda. Pandas are not moon people. Could you imagine that in like low gravity? No, that animal can't.
Oh no, I'd be flailing around all over.
That animal can't function worth shit. I mean, tell me.
Okay, no, wait a minute though. Work with me here for a moment. You're saying that it can't function worth shit. Maybe it can't function worth shit because it's in gravity. Maybe it needs low gravity to like be graceful like a ballerina. Maybe it's the Earth's gravity that's fucking with it. Maybe that's why it stumbles and bumbles around so much.
So what if the reason we've never really talked about the moon, we've lied about the moon? What if Elon actually goes to the moon
and finds it's populated with pandas?
It's just nothing but panda bears.
Just a shit ton of pandas. That's why China's wanting to get up there so bad.
That's why China's like, we that's our place. Like
that's our place. That is our place.
Yeah, in fact, pandas came from the moon to the Earth
in 1869.
What if the pandas are as good at rocketeering as the Nazis? What if that's the whole key? What if pandas are Nazis?
Oh my God! Now we're going crazy. Now we're just going crazy.
I hadn't even thought about this level.
All right. Well, we're putting you down the rabbit hole here.
Just saying, like, pandas don't make any sense, folks. Okay. And neither does the moon. And the more you know, the more you know. The more we know. So, and again, people want to like, oh, Trey Mac said this. I'm going to blanket post him over here. Like, no, fuck you. Go do your own research and tell me why pandas are somehow in existence today.
I will say, after the moon conversation, I had a number of listeners reach out and say they thought you were crazy, and then they started going down the rabbit hole, and they quickly started finding things, and they were like, I got a question, like some of what I know, because Trey Mac may have put me onto some things here. So who knows? There might be some people that start questioning this, and like pandas, you may have just blown their mind about pandas.
It is very similar to the moon situation, where you have to be careful when you start going down the rabbit hole, because just like the moon, you're going to find a bunch of people that say pandas aren't real or pandas don't exist. And there is a bunch of bullshit out there where plenty of zoos that couldn't get their hands on pandas, they dyed different dogs to look like pandas, and they got caught doing it. I
did hear about some of that, yeah.
So that has definitely happened, but that doesn't mean that pandas are not real, folks. That's not what I'm saying. Do not take that just like the moon. I'm not saying the moon doesn't exist. I'm saying it's probably not what you've been fucking told. Same thing goes with pandas. Do they exist? Yes. They still don't make any sense, and whatever we're told about them is probably not the truth.
And what's up with the fact that the red panda and the giant panda look so incredibly different, and the red panda is more closely related to the raccoon, whereas the giant panda is a bear?
The red panda.
What is up with that?
The red panda is like a legit raccoon.
Yeah, it's just a like fuzzy little. It's a ginger raccoon.
Yeah, it's a ginger. Which I don't know if you've been on the interwebs lately, but apparently gingers are African American. So I also learned this.
What?
If you don't know about this, go ahead and Google that. That's a thing right now.
I mean, I've got a lot more gray going
I'm looking
in
at
these
you
days,
right now,
but like
bro.
I was gonna say, I've got a lot more gray coming in these days. But
looking
like
at you, bro.
I was
looking at you.
I was never like the fiery red ginger. I was more of the auburn, the like brown with the red tinge.
If you don't want to accept it,
yeah,
that's on you. No.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like I was never like you. You have various shades of ginger. You have the Ron Weasleys, the like super orange, highlighter orange kind of ginger, and then you've got me with the auburn hair, But
Auburn.
yeah, auburn. But now it's just fucking gray and in desperate need of a trim. I was gonna go to get a haircut and beard trim today, and everywhere apparently all these places are closed on Sundays. I had no idea. I thought Sunday would be a good day to go get a haircut. I was wrong. So
you gotta get a good barber. Good barbers are worth their weight in gold.
Dude, I looked and like there is nobody unless I want to go to Great Clips, and I am done rolling the dice at Great Clips to determine if I'm going to walk out of there happy with my hair or not. So
I bet if you go to East St. Louis, there's some good barbers.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Well, apparently I'm black now from what you said, so.
I'm just saying, it's been a movement on social media.
I don't even know this. I don't even know if I want to know this.
I haven't gone down the rabbit hole. I've just seen it a few times. Where I'm like,
okay.
I've seen it enough where I'm like, there's a movement here.
I'm going to have to Google that because I don't know.
I couldn't tell you nothing about it. All I can tell you is that, like, pandas, I went down that rabbit hole this last 6 days, and there's something there.
Okay.
It ain't right, bro. It ain't right. Whatever we've been told is not right. Just like, Building 7.
It's always educational and informative when you come on the show, Trey Mac. I always appreciate it.
I love being on this show.
You give the people something to think about. You're not just coming on and shilling your cigars. You're coming on and you're giving the people something to think about when they leave. And I appreciate that.
You know why? Cigars are the avenue for us to have these conversations. And as much as I love great tobacco, now you give me bad tobacco, conversation's not going to happen because I'm not going to. I get my hands on some good tobacco. We sit around. Guess what? That's the avenue for us to start sharing these ideas. And I'm a curious type. And I'm also the type that has no answers. So don't start that bullshit, people. Everywhere I go, oh, man, you tell me why you think. I'm like, I never said that. Like,
never said it.
I'm just curious and I want to know more. And somebody that can prove me wrong is the wrong word because I'm not even saying I'm right. I'm just saying, like, listen, pandas are fucking weird. Can we get a pandaologist on here to tell me about the history of pandas?
Pandaologist.
Yeah, I would like to talk to a pandaologist. That'd be all I'm saying is I've got questions. I don't know if the world has the answers. Certainly haven't answered a lot of things that I've looked at, but
this is, and I'll say this too. Cigar Authority can have Justo, but they're not getting panda shit on the Cigar Authority.
No,
they're not getting these kind of hard hitting questions.
You know what? I guarantee you that makes Mr. Jonathan a little jealous.
It should.
Because I guarantee you he would want to get into this.
They're keeping it nice and straight laced, talking about tobacco and everything else. We talked about tobacco. We talked about cigars plenty. But by God, we also talked about pandas. So.
Yeah, no, I love to talk agriculture.
Yeah.
Grew up in an ag, family. We can talk about ag, but I think it might be important to talk about the agriculture based around pandas too. When you eat that much foliage and you shit that much, there's probably a good chance we could grow something. So maybe we import pandas to.
And I'll say this:
birds.
They're not great parents either, because I saw that one video where the mom was holding the baby.
Shit.
And the zookeeper came up, gave the mom an apple. She starts eating the apple, and the zookeeper just yanks the baby away, and the mom didn't move at all. She was happy with her apple. So for what it's worth, they're giving up their babies for an apple.
How if these things existed?
I wouldn't say they're the worst parent in the animal kingdom. That I still contend is probably the quokka down near Australia, because when a predator attacks a quokka, their line of defense is to throw their babies at the predator while they run away. So that one I still contend is probably the worst parent. Unless they're actually directly eating their child, which there are animals that will eat their young. And I think that's an even worse parent. But, whatever.
Have you watched some of the shit on the shoebill?
The bird?
Yeah.
No. I've seen.
That is a terrifying animal.
No, I did see a video where it was the top 15 scariest bird noises, and that was number 2, where it's clicking its beak and it sounds like machine gun fire or something like that.
Terrifying. They're the ugliest, maybe the animal on the earth. They
look big too.
But I would definitely, even sober, especially when you're on mushies, and you watch the Animal Planet when they talk about the shoebill and what they do to their children. Holy shit.
All right.
It will, I would say, even if you're sober, it's probably going to get to your heart. But if you're on some good substance, well, they're brutal.
Oh, God. All right, then.
So, but that makes sense to me, because their brutality is what has made them last. What the shoebill does, and other birds too, they make sure that if they have 2 children, only the strongest of those 2 survive, which is similar to what we do with tobacco. We have them in the, and this is, you want to talk about agriculture, we can do that.
Oh, boy.
So you have your greenhouse full of, you put 3 seedlings in each little pod. You got thousands of these fucking things. But out of each little pod where you put 3 seedlings, only one of those 3 will emerge. And the easiest thing to do is to stress them out. So you eventually you come through with this machine and you cut the tops of all the little seedlings. Stresses them out. The roots get stronger. The roots really grow. And one of those 3 will be the dominant plant in that little pod.
Okay.
That's one that gets transplanted into the field. So in a way, what we just talked about comes full circle. We do the same thing in the tobacco industry as the shoebill does to its children as well, which makes sense. Each year, your species gets stronger. And the pandas,
they just keep bumbling along.
They make no sense. So let's end it there.
I was going to say, on that note, Trey, it's always a pleasure.
Love you, brother. This is my favorite show to go on. I don't say that lightly. I like to go on shows, period. I like to talk tobacco. I like to talk all sorts of shit. You know that.
I know that.
But this is the show where I can do both.
It's true.
And
so,
thank you so much. I look forward to the next one.
For sure. And you need to get your ass. And I know it's like, not really in your area anymore and kind of difficult, but like at some point you need to get to St. Louis to try that burger place I was posting about the other day.
Oh, no, I'm down. I want to do a whole series on burger places. I know number one, it's going to be real hard for anybody to beat number one. I will tell you that right now.
I mean, I get it, but I gotta put my guys at O'Connell's in the running.
So
Luke had his situation there, but
So the way I do it,
Luke's Canadian. He doesn't understand how to order a burger.
Burgers and Canadians.
Dude, they asked him. The waiter flat out asked him, "How do you want your burger cooked?" And he looked at me like a child just lost in the park, like cannot find his parents. I mean, he had no idea. This is not a thing for Canadians to be able to have a choice in how to get their burger. And I was like, "You want it medium." And he got it medium. But unfortunately, he did not get it medium because they forgot his order. And when we asked about it, they quickly threw it on the grill, and he got a rare burger. And that thing was pretty pink. I will admit he got a rare burger.
I told him to bring it out on a leash.
It was not quite as bad as he makes it out. It has gotten bloodier and rarer every time he tells the story. But,
Is he afraid of that?
Yeah, he's fucking Canadian. They get their burgers and they're burnt to hell like hockey pucks up there.
They don't have steak tartare?
They're not used to that kind of shit up there. No, man. They don't get a choice. Apparently when you're in Canada, I said Canada. I know what I said. They don't get a choice as to how to order their burger.
Wherever I go, this goes to steak or burgers. Typically, I just tell them as rare as you're allowed to go.
See, burgers, I go medium.
Oh no, I want that shit.
I don't know, but no, yeah, we'll have to do.
I'm telling you right now, there's a place out in Virginia that is called Melt.
Okay.
Challenge anyone to have a better burger than Melt. It is unreal.
Okay.
I have had a lot of burgers, and the way I do my 0 out of 10 scale.
Yeah.
It comes to, I think you got to, most of your burgers are fast food.
Yeah.
And I would put Five Guys at a 5. So are you better than Five Guys? If it's a place that's more than fast food, I hope you're better than Five Guys.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen that often. I mean,
no.
In-N-Out is right up there with Five Guys too. They're borderline together.
Yeah.
That's a 5. That's a really
I will say I don't feel like I'm gonna have a coronary when I leave In-N-Out. When I leave Five Guys, I always feel like I'm one bad move away from having the big one.
They're two different burger experiences. In-N-Out is really good at they do good beef, but then the other things that go on top of it are also very good.
Yes.
Whereas Five Guys, it's like, no, this is just some fatty, juicy shit.
Yeah.
I would put both of them right around a 5. If you're more than fast food, I want more than each of these in different areas.
Okay.
So, but Melt in what town is that? That is Leesburg, Virginia.
Okay.
Holy shit.
All right.
So anybody out there, wherever state you're in, whatever town you're in, put in the comments, send me a DM. Here's a burger place to try. I need a list because I've been trying. Nothing's even come close to Melt. I went to the best burger in Orlando this past week. I would say it was up there with Five Guys.
Oh, okay.
It's like Five Guys.
The Aruba Beach Cafe. It's in Florida. Down kind of Lauderdale area.
Okay.
They have one. My dad loves it. I tried it once and I loved it. It's the Aruba burger. It's got like a grilled pineapple ring and like all that shit. Tasty fucking burger.
I'm in.
And you're in Florida, so you can probably get to that a hell of a lot easier than you're going to get to the place by me. But next time you're in generally, maybe you have to go down to Miami and you're driving back, take the long way, swing by the Aruba Beach Cafe, grab an Aruba burger, and try that.
Man.
And you could sit there. It's right on the ocean. You could sit there, have your burger. You're looking out at the ocean and everything. It's a wonderful time.
Awesome.
It's a wonderful time.
I'm in.
Okay. There you go.
Send me messages. Put it in the comments below.
There you go.
So before you go, PulpitFest.
Yes, PulpitFest. One more time. Beat that drum.
PulpitFest. It's coming up. It's in August.
Eventbrite.com. It's August 22nd through the 24th. General admission tickets are available. It's at the Ashen Ale in Palm Coast, Florida. You've partied there quite a bit, including recently without Ken. But it's half an hour south of St. Augustine, half an hour north of Daytona. You're an hour south of Jacksonville. You're an hour to the northeast of Orlando. So you can easily fly into Orlando or Jacksonville and be there in no time. And it's a fun area. There's awesome food all over the place, but more specifically, you can come and hang out with all of us and have cigars for 3 days. It's a wonderful time.
Awesome area. In fact, if I were going to buy a house now that I've been through Florida, I would definitely look at the Palm Coast area. I like the vibe. Once you get out there, everything kind of chills out.
I was going to say, it's not as busy as other parts of Florida.
There's tons of mom and pop places to eat food on the ocean. It's just freaking cool. Come out. It's a great time. Even if you're bringing your family, let's say you take a week vacation, you can have a couple of days in Palm Coast that are chill for mom and dad. And then you can go to Disneyland and all that shit in Orlando in an hour and a half away.
Precisely.
And you can have a great vacation together. But here's the thing, though. We're telling people to take a vacation where, what pissed me off last year.
Oh, boy.
Not much pissed me off, but a little bit.
What grinds my gears?
So it was a blast last year. But here's what really choked the goat. There were all these people that flew in from all corners of the country, and there would be people talking about flying in from Canada, even.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't see?
What's that?
Florida listeners.
Yes. Nope. That's a valid point. We had Ken's crew, his normal regulars, but Florida is one of my top 5 listen states, every month. And where are my Florida people?
Where are you at, Florida folks?
Come on, Florida people.
Hey, I'm a Florida man now. I'm Florida man through and through. I eat python and talk shit about pandas. Okay, that's Florida stuff. Okay, so come on down and see your boy. I'm your neighbor now, and we'll have a great time. It's wherever you're at. Even if you're in Miami, it's a 4-hour drive. Give me a freaking come on out. We want
fine folks from Villiger make that drive. Justo's going to be making that drive.
Justo's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great time. We'll see if I can get one of the girls to come up there. That would be good.
Ah, there you go. That'd be great.
And, whoever wins the trip to hang out with me and Mr. Jonathan to watch Interstellar in the woods, that's another key piece to this whole argument.
Exactly. And to be honest, if you're a Florida person, you're not spending airfare to get to PulpitFest, so you have the budget to afford airfare to New Hampshire to go up and hang out with Trey Mac and Mr. Jonathan in the woods.
Exactly.
Or if you're Sean, you fly free.
That's what he does.
And realistically, he's going to be at the expo anyway, so, there's that too.
That man is wild.
Hey, when you're flying free, man, I guess you have the ability to go wherever you want, whenever you want.
It's awesome.
I mean, he has to fly standby, so I think on his way down to the Kentucky Herf, it took him 22 hours. So,
it was free.
It was free, but it's kind of one of those how much do you value your time though, too?
Yeah.
So, but anyway. Yeah. No, but yes, PulpitFest, eventbrite.com. You can go over to cigarpulpit.com. It's the first post on the website. It's on Facebook. In the Parishioners group, it's a pinned post on there. And then the link is also in my Instagram bio. So there's no excuse. You can find the link and get your tickets to PulpitFest. General admissions available. It's affordable. And you get the bulk of that ticket price back as in-store credit that you can use on your first purchase at the Ashen Ale. So
it's a no-brainer.
It's really a no-brainer. Come down and hang out. It's a good time.
Florida
fabulous fun and prizes.
Come on.
Trips. It's gonna be a good time.
Oh yeah.
So
let's do it.
All right, dude. Well, Thank you so much. I appreciate it as always.
Love you too, man. This is my favorite show. Go ahead and check out Building 7 on Google. And with that,
take care. And we really want to thank Trey Mac for taking time out of his evening to discuss the Gorbusto and the 85th and Panda Bears with us. There's always something with that guy. You never know. You never know when I have Trey Mac on the show. You never know where that episode is going to go. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, why don't we now go ahead and do this? It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars, can't clip our wings. All right, and so today we're going to learn about Chris Gardner. Chris Gardner was born in 1954 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, into a life of poverty, abuse, and instability. He never knew his biological father, and his stepfather was violently abusive. Despite this, Chris dreamed of a better life and worked hard to build something more. In his early 30s, he was married with a young son and working as a medical equipment salesman in San Francisco. But things quickly fell apart. His relationship ended, he struggled financially, and the career he loved was in tatters. Chris decided to pursue... Sorry, I lost my spot there. Chris decided to pursue a dream of becoming a stockbroker despite having no formal education, no money, and no connections. He landed an unpaid internship at Dean Witter Reynolds, hoping it would lead to a job. But during this time, he lost everything. His ex took off, and he was left raising his toddler son alone while earning nothing. For over a year, Chris and his son were homeless. They slept in shelters, subway stations, airport bathrooms, and even under his desk after hours. He went to work each day in a suit, doing everything he could to hide their situation while studying intensely to pass the broker's exam. Chris refused to give up. He passed the licensing exam and after completing the internship was offered a full-time position. That job launched a career in finance that would eventually lead to him founding his own brokerage firm, Gardner Rich & Company, and becoming a multimillionaire. Chris's story gained national attention when he published his memoir called The Pursuit of Happiness. The book was turned into a major motion picture in 2006 starring Will Smith, which brought his journey to millions around the world. Today, Chris Gardner is a successful entrepreneur, philanthropist, and motivational speaker. He works to support homeless initiatives, fatherhood programs, and financial literacy, especially for disadvantaged youth. So be like Chris Gardner and Blackbird Cigars, and don't let anybody clip your wings. So, in terms of socials, I am available on Instagram at The Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. I am on Twitter/X. I am also on Rumble and YouTube if you wish to watch us. We are also on Spotify video. So if you use Spotify to listen to the program, you can also watch the show using Spotify video right there on the app. And I do need your calls for the Ask the Pulpit episodes. I'm banking up calls now for the next one, so get your calls in. Area code 863-874-0000. That's area code 863-874-0000. And if we didn't say it enough this episode, go to eventbrite.com and get your tickets now for PulpitFest 2025. We still have general admission tickets available. They're inexpensive. $30 of the $35 ticket price comes back to you as in-store credit when you, to be used at the Ash and Ale. So I mean, it all works out. But Pulpit Fest is August 22nd through the 24th in Palm Coast, Florida at the Ash and Ale Cigar Lounge. You're going to want to get in on the fun. We're going to have all kinds of activities. We're going to have the fine folks from both Villiger and Aladino present there. It's going to be a great time. You're going to get a goodie bag with all kinds of good stuff in it. And you're not going to want to miss it. So get in on the fun, get your tickets reserved, get down to Florida in August, and party with the rest of the parishioners. It'll be a great time. Anyway, I think that covers the business of the day. So, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. Stay safe and stay smoky. Later, guys.